it, but the people perpetrating it don't see it. That's for sure. So many people to share this out to. Oh my gosh. All right. But y'all know that my lives take a little while to get going, people to get here.
I'm counting at least 5 crash outs today.
That you've been through it tonight, that it's going to happen.
On your live.
Maybe. We'll see. We will see. Though the crash outs will not be me because I am going to be calm.
It'd be nice.
That's the biggest thing is I know they're going to always crash out, especially if they think that we're being rude or interrupting them, even though they're all rude just by existing, but whatever. Let's see. Who else? Penny. There we go. All right. All right. N8S, are you over 21?
Yeah.
All right. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, you're running a Trump supporting debate or whatever, right?
No, we don't support him. This is more for the people who support him.
You're debating people that support him, or you're
Yes.
supporting him. Oh, it looks like your prompt looks like you are. Oh, because it says Democrats pick one. Like it's MAGA slash Democrats. Okay. So what's a MAGA slash Democrat? Just anybody?
Because even Democrats show forms of patriotism and racism, anti LGBTQIA views, even the Christian ethic as well. So it's for everyone.
So basically, yeah, everyone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Never mind then.
Oh yeah,
I
Dugald
can't see
Teacup.
the full thing, so I gotta fix it. What part can't you see? How far is it cut off?
That's something for Korean chat. I know chat views the thingy differently than panel.
No, that's true. Cray, what part is cut off? Do you see? Like, what do you see?
Let's not forget, even some Democrats voted for this Malakia this term.
Well, I'm also open to just people wanting to come up and talk about what they think is happening right now. I'm okay with that too, just to fill in
Oh,
the
fine.
dead spots. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would prefer to talk to ops. But if somebody's got something they want to come up and say, at least it fills in the dead spots. You know what I mean?
That's fine. Okay, could do that.
Because we do have a lot of times where there's just nobody to talk to other than ourselves. So at least that kind of opens it up a little bit. One of the two letters of each sentence. Okay. Sentence. Okay.
So walking, do you have any children? Just curious. Curious. And this is very relevant to your Velveeta Voldemort, might I add. You got quiet on me walking. Did you run away? I can't bring you up when Hosh is away, Cray. There you are.
Maybe.
Welcome, Cray.
Hey, hey, hi, my little hunty. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Dugald, was better to go. I could see it when you just flashed. So a lot of scary things happening right now, huh? With the age they're trying to move on to 14, I believe.
They are. That's why I was trying to children, but he ran before
Oh,
I got an answer.
yeah, they're going to use the excuse, because 14-year-olds are running around in packs and gangs, and doing criminal acts. That's not the reason why. We know they're trying to justify and be able to cover themselves when they get busted with children. That's all it is. It's a law that's making it legal for them to marry children or to be with children. That's all it is. No more, no
Yep.
less.
That's disgusting. You're happy about C camps and children brides. That's really gross.
Yeah, and they're not saying anything like maybe keeping 14-year-olds in schools or educating them if they're, if they are running loose on the streets, but they're, it's sickening. And then with the whole martial law thing in Washington, D.C., that's just the beginning. L.A. was, I believe, a testing ground, just to test to see how it will go over.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're using it on one of the most predominantly black cities in the country. That's not going unnoticed.
Well, they're going for Chicago and New York next.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And something else they all have in common. They all have black leadership in those towns.
Yeah. They're
And
going after Democratic cities. They're not going after Republican ones.
No, they don't care to, and people won't see it. And it's so funny. I was on a live today, and somebody mentioned something. I got so excited because you ever see the movie called The Unaliving Fields? Obviously, it's something else.
Yeah.
It was about Cambodia and Pol Pot, and I was thinking, like, this is how they started there. First they went after the educated people. They were unaliving people or throwing them in jail for having glasses on, and then they went after teachers and all kind of educators and college students and things like that, because a dictator want people. My dog is just being so irritating right now. She wants me to throw her little bunny for her. They want people to be uneducated so they can run the masses like that, because it's hard to fight an educated man, and they know this.
Mm-hmm.
They know this.
Everybody be less educated.
Yeah, because what did he say? The dumb. That's why most of us look at the true MAGAs. We don't see the rich politicians that are really being MAGAs. They're not. They're just trying to get theirs. They're not really MAGAs. But it's the poor. It's the poor ones who, not the most educated ones, and they don't see this.
I agree.
They're too stupid to see it.
Oh,
That's the whole point.
Stupid. I think I was on Aaron today, or someone, like, they had, I think, like, someone said they get a talking point every morning to go on each show and talk about, because they all say the same thing. If you go to when they're, to a live they're on, like, they're saying, the country's economically we're doing great. Like, we're not. We're heading into a recession right now.
They're not. Just because, and they think that just because gas goes down in random remote areas or something that means it's happening, and it's not. He said.
No. Yeah, exactly. You know, they're crazy. It's like, and like Aaron said today, the reason why the stock market's doing so good, China and the U.S. They put a freeze on they still haven't come to terms yet. You know, with the tariffs yet. But as soon as if those tariffs do come in high, we're gonna truly be paying out the you know what.
Oh yeah, those tariffs are about that. The impact of those is supposed to hit what, next month or this month sometime.
Next month.
Well, they put a freeze on. They stopped the one with China last night. They moved the goalposts up another month or so, I believe.
Well, they always
Yeah.
do that, but the effects are still about to hit us though, because some, yeah, the ones that, because they were talking about it yesterday. Even if he rescinds on the tariffs he's threatening now, it's still the companies are still treating it as if they're still happening. So like they're still paying out the ass. They're still going to raise prices, and some of them are even been hit by some tariffs, so they already increased their prices anyway.
Yep.
So we're fucked on that end. It's just the way that's going to work.
Well, they don't see that because from the beginning, they never understood what tariffs were in the first place. And the whole thing is, not all of us were, economical geniuses. We were. I mean, I know quite a few things, but I wasn't, of course, not like Aaron. But that's why you can go out and read things for yourself,
Right.
you know, and find out. So you just can't say I didn't know down the line. Oh, I regret my vote. No. I honestly, like I saw someone today, I would never forgive the people who voted for him. I truly can't. It'd be a long time before I do, if I ever do.
I'm having a hard time with that because my mom and dad vote for him, and they're the only ones of my nieces, nephews, and my sister and brother-in-law. They didn't vote for him, so they're fine. Like I don't have a problem there. But with my parents, they did, and they're still supportive of him. And I'm having such a hard time with that because they're not the people that raised me. When
Right.
they're talking about him, they're not the same people in that mentality.
Yeah, and like I said, they were talking about Harris saying, "Oh, she didn't have a platform. She really couldn't speak." I'm like, "Oh my God, this lady was overqualified.
She was the
How
most
was she not
qualified person
qualified?"
we've ever had run for president.
Yes, she was. She
Ever.
worked in all three forms of government. No one can say that. She was way overqualified, but they're like you said, they're just ignorant. They hear the talking point. They listen to Fox News or they go on X every day and they get, their knowledge from it. And they really think they're doing something now, and they're celebrating as their teeth continue to fall out because they're going to lose a dental, and I guess it's okay because now some people will be able to marry their 14-year-old cousin or 13-year-old cousin. I don't know. So
Gay marriage is back up on the chopping block.
that lady, did you see her today? Remember
Kim
the
Davis?
Yeah, she's
That-
she's trying to take her case before the Supreme Court.
Yeah, they're
Something to get
demanding it be
overturned.
heard, so it's most likely going to get another ruling.
I remember I couldn't stand her when she first came out.
Oh, she's from the state I grew up in, the state I was born in.
Is it Tennessee? No,
Kentucky.
Kentucky, yeah.
Yep. So sure, she already was on my whatever. But Kentucky's weird. They have a Democratic governor right now that is really popular, but they still hate Democrats and they still hate liberals. They still are MAGA all the way because they still keep voting for like Mitch McConnell and all that. So it's like
Mitch McConnell looks like he's about to croak any day now.
based
like a
on
turtle.
what I believe to be strokes on camera,
Oh yeah.
or at least effects of a stroke on camera. And here's the thing. I don't think that Biden was great either. And the fact of the matter is, I am really pissed off the fact that he has stage whatever cancer so far in advance in cancer that there's no way he didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And he held off the idea of running until it was too late for Kamala to really get the traction we needed from her. Now, she did a fantastic job of gaining traction while she did it. I'm not denying that she was phenomenal at what she did garner, right? She only lost by 1% of the total available vote.
And that's still debatable in my book, honestly.
I do too. After all this stuff in New York, I'm starting to think that there might be something to that after all.
Yeah.
But I am mad at him for that because he literally is the reason that she didn't have a chance in hell, if you really think about it, because she didn't have time to really hash out what kind of policy she really wanted.
Nope.
She didn't have the time to garner the votes and campaign the way everybody else did.
True.
Like,
Stop, please stop, baby. Well, my baby won't stop. I'm sorry.
you're fine.
No, you go
I
ahead.
think we just had somebody so qualified and we passed her up all because some one rich old white dude lied about his health and like didn't do the right thing ahead of time, and another rich old white dude who wants to ruin everything because of his ego.
Yeah, I think he should have did it much sooner. He did, but one thing I would never appreciate the way Nancy Pelosi and the other ones went after him so publicly about stepping down and everything. I really think one thing I can say about Republicans, they know how to come together and keep things quiet when needed. Democrats, they act so docile, it drives me crazy. I would love to see one get on the news and just call them, a liar straight out.
Newsom
they don't act right.
Newsom and the Illinois governor, I can never pronounce his name. Starts with a P.
I know you're talking about that.
Can't remember his name. He's a billionaire himself, but he's like a very left-leaning guy when it comes to people and their social status and stuff. So like they're all about, they're calling him liars. They're saying what he's doing is fucking wrong, and they're out there saying, "Well, we're going to play dirty too, just like Texas. We'll redistrict the shit out of this."
Oh yes, they are.
And I'm all for it. And so is New York governor. New York's governor has been up in his face too. He's been flat out saying, "I'm not going to let him bully me. I'm going to fuck."
Oh yeah, Newsom. Well, that's what Republicans hate Newsom with a passion. They hate that man so much.
Oh yeah, they can't stand Newsom. Although I'm not a huge Newsom fan either. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about him. He's just kind of in the middle for me, as far as like meh,
He knows how to play the game.
Yeah.
He's I was like I said, I lived in California most of my life, and that's I love Kamala so much. Love her because I saw her whole policy from the start when she was just a DA in San Francisco. I actually worked on her brother-in-law's campaign when I was in San Jose, California. He was running for office down there for something. And his name's Tony West. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to meet her. I saw it at one of his campaign stuff. She was in one of the rooms, but I didn't know. She obviously wasn't as famous like she is now. But yeah, she's always been straightforward. But Newsom, he kind of remind me of a snake oil salesman sometimes. He has a pretty smile. He grins, but you can trust him. But then at some part, you're like, I'm going to hold my cards a little close to my chest when it comes to this guy.
Yeah, he feels like an arm's length kind of person to me.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
But I will vote for him over Trump.
Oh, any day. Any day. At least I know he's not going to take something from me.
No, not like that. No,
not like that. He might fuck something up, but he ain't going to take something from me.
And I think Donnie Jr.'s wife was his first wife. What's her name? Laura something? Larry Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to be married to Governor Newsom, I believe.
Yeah, his whole family's got weird. His sister's a federal judge.
Mm-hmm. And
she hates him.
A rich kid. Oh,
she hates him.
Yeah, the politics are just like a strange bedfellows. It's like you have to just go for the best you can, and just hope for the best.
If more people would start paying more attention to their locals, we would have more options than just the Dems and the Republicans.
They don't realize that. People don't realize that. That's where all the power is. Who you put in locally, who goes.
Because those people are the ones who move on to the federal stuff, and if they're part of a different party, we have a realistic chance. But nobody ever pays attention to that.
Your Congress people actually make their laws for you, so that's why they're important to have.
Yep. Tucson, are you over 21? Awesome. And what do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the LGBTQIA.
All right. What do you want to say?
Equal rights through and through, but I don't want to pay for their SMEX surgeries.
Where
You know
are
how
you
to
paying for their
huh?
Where are you paying for anybody's SMEC surgery?
Well, I just don't want it to happen.
When
I know some people try to push that. Huh?
When has that ever been on the books or been proposed?
Well, a lot of them try to say they need it, like, and that it should be free for healthcare.
Who's a lot of them? Who?
A lot of the LGBTQIA, or which would be the T in that.
Really, I'm a member of that community, and I've never heard my trans brothers and sisters ever say that.
Oh, I've heard a lot of them say it.
Who?
Just people that are out protesting, like No King's Day. Talked to a few in Laguna Beach not too long ago.
Who said they expect to have free SMEX change surgery? Did they talk about paying for insurance? Did they talk about any of that kind of thing?
Yeah, like I said, maybe not even insurance either, because I don't want those insurance rates to go up either. So
wouldn't go up because it's not a life-threatening surgery. It would still be something they pay for.
yeah, so that's good. Yeah, I just want it to be equal rights. I mean, maybe they could. I wouldn't want someone playing a sport. I guess that one is one we could talk about.
Yeah, that doesn't need to be federalized, nationalized, or part of a law, because they already have things in place for all of that. That it consists of boards of doctors and medical experts and other various biological experts and endocrine.
Yeah, I wouldn't want someone that was born with a dingling to play in like women's sports.
But that's only you would not know that in any way, shape, or form. And they've already got things in place to take care of that. So it has no effect on you, and you wouldn't have any idea about it anyway.
So are you saying there's not trans women in female sports?
Out of all the female sports that there are,
it's 0.1%. That's literally 10 trans women.
Yeah,
it's not a big number.
We're talking about a handful, maybe more, of trans people in all of sport.
Don't want it.
Okay.
Okay, then talk to the sports companies that allow it.
And they already have things in place for that. So you.
Well, I know Trump's making it like
and
where
you have no business nor need to be in it.
So Trump's making something like rules against it.
Okay, Trump is also making rules and regulations to have the age of consent of marriage to 14. Do you have anything on that?
What? The age of consent to 14? I didn't hear about that
for
one.
marriage, yes. It happened yesterday in D.C. when he made his announcement.
What do you say? What did he do?
He is making it a federal law to where the age of consent for marriage is as young as 14 years old. 3 states have already approved
let's take a look.
Go ahead. He said it in his speech yesterday. Maybe you should pay attention. Oh no, Benny.
Aw. Isn't your backup right up? Don't you have a backup, I thought?
I just one Benny had a backup. "7 days," Benny said.
What was the reason they gave for wanting to lower the age, Hanji? I didn't hear it.
I don't know the reason why. I do know that there was a state, I think it was Utah, where the governor's nephew, 18 years old, raped a 13-year-old, and he changed some laws at like the last minute to where his nephew wasn't hit with a felony.
So what was your claim again?
Yeah, that Trump is trying to make it a federal law to where the age of consent for marriage is 14 years old.
All right, so I Googled that. Nothing even popped up about that.
Mm.
So
Okay,
I
I'll go
don't
ahead and bring
think
it up
it's.
then.
I mean, I don't know where you got your news, but there's really nothing like that out there.
Want to know where I got my news? I watched his actual speech that happened live in Washington, D.C. when he brought martial law in.
Well, there's nothing on that anywhere in Google, and obviously left-leaning media would definitely pick up on it.
Not a leftist, I'm a communist. So let's get that clear.
Left-leaning media, you don't know what that means, so I didn't call you anything. I don't know what you are. I'm just saying there would be reported. Obviously, I think a lot of people would disagree with that and thus be mentioned in the media a ton because media loves to disagree, with politics. It's talked on both sides. So, it's just troubling that you come in here and spout that like it's truth. There's nothing about that at all.
I'm looking, and the only thing I'm finding is it's talking about charging teens as adults. I'm not seeing about the men.
Exactly. So we could agree that was just made up.
But no, we can't agree on that because the things I'm looking at are.
You're going to defend. You're going to defend.
Stop! I'm not here to yell. Stop.
He said it in his speech yesterday. What part did you not understand? He said it live in his speech yesterday. He is talking about bringing it into law. I'm not the only one who watched the speech. Desi apparently watched it too.
I don't think you know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about. You just don't like the fact that your Velveeta Voldemort is about to allow this shit to happen.
I don't like your Euro-eating ass misinformation.
I don't like your bigotry, misogynistic piece of shit white man don't know how to fucking wash his ass or brush his teeth motherfucker being on my fucking panel. How about that? The fuck? Talking like you came from a fucking uncle brother or some shit.
He didn't look it up because he did say it in his speech, and obviously he didn't watch the speech. And he always runs.
14-year-olds prosecuted as adults, but I'm not seeing the marriage part. That's the part I can't seem to find. Hold on.
You know, Haji, I wish when they come up here and they speak up for things like, speak out against the LGBTQ plus community. I wish for once they just say, but we're also fighting all the pedos that are in the churches, P3Os in the churches. They never talk about that. Why would a church need SA insurance?
SAM.
Why would they need that kind of insurance? But I never hear them. They're so worried about what two consensual adults are doing in their bedrooms. They never ever say about the harm that's been done to the children. That's never their first thing. They never come out and say, "Oh, the president is going to come out and stop this and that about what's happened to children." But the first thing, oh, he's going to put an end to that community. And why is that your first thought and not the first thought of starving kids? That's not only in Gaza or all over the world, but in this country too. Children are going to bed hungry. They're stopping school lunch programs and breakfast programs, but they never ever start with that.
You want to know why? It's because Christian nationalism is becoming statewide. And it's to the point to where a lot of the people that are in office or in these chairs, they are perfectly okay with it. I have been looking at statistics of more straight white men that are conservative Christians that cause more harm to adolescents, 13 and younger, more than you can find statistically on any one part of the LGBTQ plus community.
True. But they always pick that. And someone said today, I really thought about this. People who are beating about the community so bad, usually they're probably someone who's stuck in the closet somewhere or who have tendencies. You know what I mean? But they're covering it up like they're so appalled by it. How is that your first thought to be appalled to be appalled about? But you're not worried about children that are being hurt first. That should be your very first thought of the innocents who cannot protect themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But you're
You
worried
know,
about what two adults were doing.
when I hear about the whole church thing, apparently there's a term for it now. It's called the love. They were being loved by God, and that is fucking sick.
Yeah, I can't find that part, Hanji. I can see they're trying to lower the age that they're allowed to prosecute as an adult to 14, but I'm not finding the marriage part.
Well, I mean, the speech was yesterday, so it was during the whole martial law process.
Everything I find on it just keeps talking about the prosecution, the takeover, the prosecution at 14 years old, the takeover of the place, and something else too.
Well, I'll put it like this. When I was trying to tell my friend about it and even tried to share her the video exposing what he said, I got hit with TikTok violation. And it was in a DM.
That's why I got in trouble. I said, utway, if way, umptre, usway, on Steenway, istlay.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what if on that? And I got hit with misinformation.
But I wonder why they're not talking about that. You would think that part would be bigger news. If they're
Well,
if they wants to lower the age of
Could have
marriage.
scrubbed it. I mean, it could have been scrubbed. You got to go on, like X or something. Or
Maybe. And I refuse to have an X account again, so.
I got one. Hold on. But they'll scrub X really quick too. Like Taylor Swift, I remember, like they made it so you could not like search her name one time.
So fucking petty.
Yeah, it's so petty.
But to be honest, that's what we have to start doing back, though, is be just as petty. So
That's what I'm saying.
We won't. We always want to play. Oh, that's I love the first lady Michelle. I love her so much.
Same,
But that
Cray. I already know where
bullshit
you're going.
but that shit about when they go low, we go high. No. We take it to the dirt. We take it to hell just like they do. Because that nice guys finish last stuff is BS. I'm sorry.
When it comes to them, yes. I was with her then, but when he ran for the second time, no, I was over it. They're not going to listen to that shit. They don't care if we take the high road. They want us to take the high road because they know they'll get away with shit because they know we're not going to do shit.
Yeah. You know, you have people like MVT out there saying the most egregious things, straight lies. No one calls her out on it.
That reminds me, before I forget. So you know the person that does the under the desk? He touched base on what he said during his speech about the child marriage.
Well, I know, like in Tennessee, they tried to make it 16.
They tried to make it 12 at one point.
5 days ago, Republican Utah Senator Stuart Adams used his power to change local consent law to help a family member facing charges for abusing a 13-year-old girl. That was 5 days ago.
Yep. That's literally what I was just talking about too.
But yeah, like, I mean, that's weird. That's wild. It's true. Like, I would not put it past him. But I could also
It's
see.
not weird. You want to know why? Because his victims on that list were that age. If they can make it legal to where you can marry at that age, guess what?
Yeah, then
it's no longer a felony and they're clear.
Right.
It's to cover their own asses.
But, like, what about the court of the public opinion? Like, where are the people? Where are these people that were, the QAnon or whatever, the people that were screaming about Oprah and all of that stuff? Were they just
You want to know where they
fakers?
You want to know where they are, Bendy?
Where?
They're in jail because they were caught with CP.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I mean, they went so far as to go into that like pizza place or whatever that they thought was like some cabal central and and do all this stuff, but now it's like silence. It like the silence is deafening.
because it's their own.
But see, that's the thing, Benny and Hanky. It's just like Republicans. They get one talking point, like they said, Pizzagate. And every time the Republican was on the news, that's all they. That was the first thing out their mouth, Pizzagate. Democrats would know something and they don't do it. That should be their talking point on every news cycle. Also, you know, you have to play what you say, fight fire with fire sometimes.
Yeah, it's just so weird. It's like not even last year, you know, before November, X, like Twitter, everything was about that subject, and like, oh, the Pope is got a blue spiral or something, and that's like code from FBI. We found this and Hillary's emails, and then some actor that jumped off a bridge, he was like at something with Seth Green, and they were eating people or something. I don't know. And like now, nothing. You got nothing.
You want to know? You want to know something? Now that you mentioned that, when he won the first time, didn't anyone notice how Hillary's email suddenly went poof?
It's always like
no
that.
one brought it up again?
Yeah, it's always like that, though.
It's always like that because they didn't really care about it.
Hey, Ariel.
They just did it because, again, that base who won't pick up a paper. My biggest thing is I like to read foreign news to see what their views are on America or what's happening on the world.
That's a good.
I do that every day. I've always watched foreign. I've been watching Japanese news channels since the late '80s in California. You know, on PBS. We know with a translator, because it's good to know what's going on around the world. And people just think American people, because of movies, think we're like this big white savior on a horse, and I don't necessarily mean white by Caucasian. I just meant, you know, the white hat guy around the world. But they don't realize a lot of these stabilized countries are countries we helped destabilize in the first place. That's how the Banana Republic started down in Central America. We totally helped start all that BS in the Middle East, a lot of it. Especially Iran, a lot of it. We started a lot of stuff. But then people think people are just hating America for no reason. No, those people in their minds, they have a right. They feel like they're justified in hating us.
You're so right. I watched, so I randomly was elevated maybe, and I get into like, I need to watch a good documentary about history or something. So I got like, I pay like $5 a month for PBS documentaries on like, through Amazon Prime or whatever. And so I pull it up on my Amazon Video, and I just randomly found one about the Iran hostage situation, and how much BS that we deal with nowadays that came from that situation alone is wild, and how much we caused it ourselves. Like, we went in there, overthrew their government twice. Once to make it like you know, like where women had rights and stuff, and then we did it again to because like the Muslim like took over, and that's what it is now. Is like the imams are like in power, or the Maharaj, or why I can't remember what his name is. But anyways, like
Ayatollah Khomeini.
Yes, Khomeini, and then there was the who was the other guy that was like the capital, the Shah. The Shah, yeah.
The Shah we brought over here.
When he had cancer, and we brought him over here, and they were mad, and they wanted him back, and that's why they took the hostages, and we wouldn't give him back. And it's like, the guy is unaliving. Give him back. Like, why is this even a question? And it's like this, we won't deal with terrorists. And it's like, no. Or sorry, terrorists. And
I want to know is why Trump is meeting with Putin about Ukraine and leaving Ukraine out of it.
I thought he said Ukraine has to be in on it. I just saw
that was before when he was mad at Putin, but now all of a sudden within the last week, him and Putin are buddies again.
I can't keep.
They're meeting in Alaska, in a very discreet area, Alaska. The Simpsons predicted it. Make it happen.
Yeah, they just but if people just go back and honestly, just before we get off the subject, but just go back and look at the whole reasoning behind how America really got involved with Iran.
Yeah.
British Petroleum.
British Petroleum.
Iran.
Yep.
That was they would see wild because Iran, they used to wear short, regular. They dress like Americans, how the West dress,
Same thing with Saudi Arabia.
They were not. Their faces were not covered up or anything like that, unless it was by choice. Until they ran the Shah out and Ayatollah took over, and the same thing with Iraq.
When the Shah was in power, he bought billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of like war material, like war machines. And America didn't deliver on a lot of that. That's why Biden had to pay Iran like $6 billion that one time. You know how like that's a talking point that you'll hear from the right. They'll be like, oh, why did Biden give $6 billion to Iran? Because our ass back when Jimmy freaking, Carson and or whatever, when Carson and I think Reagan were in power, they were selling a bunch of war like machines to him and they didn't deliver. So yeah, they had to refund him or refund Iran. But like nobody looks that far into it.
No. And for our boy right now, he's still in Russia more than anybody.
Carter. I don't know why I'm like not making my brain's not firing right. I'm not pulling up names right. I'm too excited.
That's why history is so important, because it does repeat itself. In order you find out there's a reason why things are happening in your world today. That's exactly what happened. That's why things happen for a reason. Why you have your enemies. People just don't just become your enemies for no reason. It's usually something behind it. Either something you did or they did.
It's crazy too, because it all like goes back to like with Iran, it like in the 40s. It all started because of this guy named Kermit Roosevelt too. He was like part of like the FBI or CIA, and it was his like job to overthrow Iran and like change the government completely, and then like bring democracy to it because there was like a threat of communism. And by doing that, he basically got the Shah in power instead of like this actually like really good. Like he would have been democratically elected, and he was like awesome, and he would have been, but he was like alienated, like I can't think of his name.
Yep, right now. You're right. I know who you're talking about. You're right. And they put the Shaw. They put the Shaw in charge.
Yeah, and they put like if you
everybody, hold on, Betty. Do me a favor, everybody. Tap screen, share. Do have
sorry, I'm not doing my job here.
Lower the gift. Well, there we go. Casey's got it. Just to try to get a little more interaction going for the FYP, so I'll keep them small and keep them coming so that they, are willing to push it out a little more. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, tap, share, do all the things, guys. Appreciate you.
Yeah, Mossadegh, that was his name, Mohammed Mossadegh. He lived to 1967. You'll see like pictures of his face, like the Irani people that are like protesters that are like actually probably decent people. They'll have Mossadegh's face like on stuff, and they'll be like burning American flags and stuff. Because we did that.
Did you so Dugald? So you find out which surgeons they're doing that surgery for transgenders? Since he said there was so many surgeries it was happening, that it's okay.
I've yet to ever find any of these surgeries they're talking about.
The only surgery on like underage that would be.
It's not underage. They were talking about getting free ones, is what the current demand of the trans community, he says, was.
If anything, then it's probably just like boys that aren't trans getting gender affirming surgery because they have gynecomastia, because that's like the only time that any like gender affirming surgery is done is little boys that grow boobies.
Well, there are girls that get breast augmentations when they're young, but that's usually parental consent for their.
They're fine with that.
And shit.
Oh, yeah, they are.
But they're fine with that. They don't care about that.
Well, that's just one of the laws like they have about them teaching in the schools. whenever you ask them, just please name the school where it's being taught at. Oh, I read it. Or I can't find it. You know, because you're lying. It was never a school that was teaching that. Or your little boys go to school one day, he come home, a girl the next day. Where is this happening at?
I want to know if anybody, like any Trump supporters or any like right wingers that are listening, I want to know if they are okay with the Supreme Court possibly overturning Obegerville, which is same-sex marriage, because that is in the news again. And they are looking at it. And,
all because Kim Davis has got the man in the White House that she wants.
Yep. That, oh my God. There's not a word in the English language that I have for that person.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to make a word up. That click cunt.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who said it the other day, but they're like a country music fan.
Yeah.
First one called "See You Next Tuesday."
Yeah, she is See You Next Tuesday. She just looks like one too. You know, like she just looks like she hates the world.
Oh, these people. Listen, I know where she's from, and the people usually in that area are usually.
What?
There's not only swamps in Florida, right? There's literally swamps in Western Kentucky. And the overall people are not that different.
Look at her ass.
Careful, Benny, you'll get hit with bullying.
I'm not saying she's in the swamp area, but that whole section is kind of along the same lines.
That's when she got arrested.
Well, she said her Christian beliefs, right? But wasn't she like divorced twice or something? Or something that came out about her 2 or 3 times?
Oh, so the coup de cat is dry and she feels pissy about that. Okay.
It was she was working at the
County clerk,
yeah, and it was against her religion, so she wouldn't issue because she was the clerk of courts, she wouldn't issue marriage certificates, which was not within her, like she has to do it regardless of what your religion is. Like that doesn't stop you from doing your job.
See, that's what you dislike me about this country. Say, oh, it's freedom of beliefs, right? Whatever. It's Christian beliefs only when it comes to religion, because just say if you're a Buddhist or you practice Hindu or something like that, or you don't have to practice anything, but what if you feel like you have the right to marry who you want to marry? So someone who said because they're Christian shouldn't be able to say if you can or not be married. You know, that's why we're saying law should not be based on your religion. It should be based on facts and things like that. Because even if you're not Christian, they make you live by Christian rules.
Or like a Muslim person, say they were the clerk of courts, and say a man and woman were getting married, but he wanted to take her last name, and that was against their, Sharia law or something.
Yeah, or like you said. So what if it was a Muslim clerk? He said, I don't believe in Christianity marriages, so I'm not going to give out any licenses. There would have been an uproar. He would have lost. Are they going to have something that to represent Hindu or Buddhism or any other religions around? No, they won't. Well, it's just like it's crazy.
Let us bring up a Zeus temple in the States and see all the fucking bitching and complaining happen.
Hey guys, I got a really important call about my mom, so I got to sign off real quick.
Okay.
Oh,
Thanks for coming, Benny.
Do what you gotta do, Benz.
bye, Ben.
All right. Thank you all for being here. Tap screen, share live, do all the things. Also, if you are a MAGA or a Democrat, I don't care who you are. If you've got something you want to say about the state of things right now, especially anything pertaining to what I've got up here, please come on up. We'll have a talk about it. I would love to hear your opinions. I would like to talk to ops, obviously, but it's okay if we don't. I'm okay with hearing what my community feels as well.
Every time I look at white Christian nationalists, it surprises me, Dugald, because it makes me don't understand the black Christians that vote for this. It boggles my mind.
It's the question you've heard us ask many times, Gray. I have said it many times myself. I will never understand a person of color who believes in the colonizer oppressor's God. Because you can't pray to the same God as the people oppressing you.
You can. You just look stupid.
It don't make no sense.
Yeah. But when they outright know his policies, and especially what just happened yesterday too, and I still heard them on panels today defending him, it's like, what is wrong with you?
Right. Here's the thing. The Roman semi-white Homo sapien people are the ones who took this religion away and ran with it and just been appropriating and accumulating and graping and pillaging and all the stuff they've been doing. And it's just pushed all of this shit to the max. And people even in Europe will sit there and deny and go, well, it's not like that here. It is. Don't hand me that bullshit. It may not be as overt. It may not be on the streets. It may not be like even necessarily systemic, but it sure as shit, there's prejudice there.
They're still riding on the streets there. They're saying send all the foreigners home. They're talking about the Native Indians and the Africans and people from the islands. They are saying send them home.
Australia's got it. They have racism toward the Petty. They have racism toward the indigenous. They're indigenous. I forget the Aboriginals. I don't know if they still go by that or not.
But see, that's what cracked me up. Especially like they don't need them anymore in England. So after World War II, and they brought all them over to help rebuild England. Now they don't need the Jamaicans or the Nigerians or the Indians anymore. They're trying to get them out. I mean, it's always on the news there. They're saying foreigners go home, because right now they're part of their government system there. Some are mayors in towns. They're in a House of Commons and all these things like that. So now they don't need them anymore. But what I find surprising, England is the one country that has been on what they call it, sun ever sets on the English empire, because they have someone in each country somewhere. And now they don't want anybody in their country.
What's even funnier about it is they don't pay attention to the fact that, yes, I realize there are some homogenous countries out there, which I don't necessarily think is a good thing, but there are countries that are doing exceedingly well for themselves, like the Norwegian countries, whatever. But our country has always had so much diversity that there's no way you're going to be able to separate it. And at this point, there's not going to be enough of any one specific group, segment, in order to keep population growth steady and even close to what it should be. So even if you got rid of every ethnicity and only had white people, or if you got rid of every ethnicity and only had black people, or whatever the case may be, it's still not going to be the right enough people. You have to you're still going to have the stagnation. You're still going to need an injection of new DNA, basically. You're going to need new people. They're just going to look different than you. Oh, well. I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but once we stopped segregating that stuff, we had some very attractive people come about. Maybe we'll have more. Who fucking knows? Maybe we'll get cures for shit because fucking people's brains will start working right. I don't know. Figure it out.
Well, especially in that community, because there's a lot of little beige kids running around their community and their families right now, and and they don't know what to do. I mean, because it's scary because their birth rate is so low.
So I don't know if y'all noticed, but the more white it gets, the more cross-eyed people be getting. Like that Ozark business happening right now, that new sundown town they're building. Motherfucker, listen. Them people are going to be cross-eyed and dumb by the next 10 years. I Guarantee it.
It won't even take a whole generation.
Well, I'll tell you, yes, you're right. All right, give it 20 years. And every one of the offspring of them people that are there right now will be dumb. Because they genetically aren't going to be able to do anything else.
I think it's so funny they were surprised that no one was upset about it. We're like, you've always had sundown towns. What's surprising or new about this one? What's different?
No. What's funny is highly recommend. There's a show on HBO Max that I highly recommend called We're Here. It is about drag queens, but they go out into very, very country towns, including sundown towns, and try to be a voice for the local people there that are out, that are gay. And it's a wonderful show. It's beautifully done. They've won awards and stuff for it. It's really good. You should check it out. But those sundown towns are fucking scary. And the thing of it is, it's easy to find one because there's a shit ton of places that are primarily or only or up to 95% white. So they're already pretty much there. You know what I mean? Like there's tons of those areas. I grew up in those areas. My entire class, there was I can't remember, somewhere between 250 and 500. I can't remember the number. I have to go look at my transcripts. It's been fucking over 20 years. But I think there were 500 kids in my class, and there was only 2 people of color in my grade. None through my middle school or elementary school that I recall. And each grade in high school, I remember there was at least maybe 2. Rural Kentucky. Told you, I'm from where the South starts. Like, you look at a map, Kentucky, Ohio, that bridge right there, where the South starts. That's where the shit starts to happen. The transition starts to happen.
I don't know.
My accent's not as thick as most of the ones. If you go even an hour south, the accent starts coming out like this, and it's a lot thicker.
I don't know, dude. Outside of Chicago and Illinois, they got a whole bunch of sundown towns there. A lot in Illinois.
I'm not saying they don't exist everywhere. I'm just talking about like this is where I grew up, and you couldn't help but to be in a sundown.
Riverbanks kind of area.
Yeah, it's just because there's not enough people of color that live in them, so you just automatically have sundown towns because there's no people of color. Like, it's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, what do you think is going to be the outcome of Washington D.C.?
I genuinely don't know. We're in such uncharted territory for our country. Like, here's the thing. I understand that Black people specifically and some other minority groups in some way over the course of history, Black people consistently throughout our history have experienced fascism. I'm not blind to that. But we've never had full on, like, pretty much like every other major fascist country in history type of situation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's always been at least a cutoff somewhere. And unfortunately, yes, sometimes it's the Black community as a whole. And I hate that. It's not right. And I really need to change that, and I'm going to try my best. But, like, it's never been for literally everyone. And it's never been this deep and ingrained because this, remember, has been going on for decades behind closed doors, and nobody really caught wind of it that hard until recently, like mainstream wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what happens now, I don't know, because we've already done some things that usually denotes a massive shift in government, because I can't remember the figure, but it's like so many percentage of people showing up to protest a government usually gets that government ousted somehow. We've already hit that number. The last No King's Day. And possibly the one before that. So, and it went largely ignored. So I don't know what's going to happen now, because we're in a part that's just new. No matter how we deal with it, it's new to a country our size. It's new to a country in our age with information the way it is and social media like we're dealing with now, and with such an ingrained pew pew love and widespread ownership. I don't know how this regime holds on to what they're gaining in the long run. Because as I've said, and we talked about last night in my live, there's just not enough military to cover the entire United States, to hold down martial law, right? There's not enough military or police to hold down martial law across the entire country, especially in rural areas, right? So I also don't see them having a large enough squad after the fact to maintain that, right? Because what they're going to have to do first is collect all the pew-pews. And we already know there's going to be a massive amount of casualties on that. Because some of even his base are die-hard from my cold, unalived hands people.
Right.
No matter who the fuck we're talking about. I've heard that from my own family and people I grew up around consistently. And no matter who was in power. Somebody said, no, let's do something with guns and pew-pews. No. They was mad. Wasn't having it. So I don't know how this will go.
Well, yeah, he can't necessarily depend on the military either, because not everybody in the military agrees with him. And
that's the other thing. That's going to get split pretty much down the middle, because there are a lot of supporters there, though.
yeah, but you look at the National Guard also. National Guards are mostly people who are there 2 weeks in the summer and one week in a month. You know, they're living everyday life, unlike people who are, other military branches who are in there full time,
Yeah.
from sun to sundown. It's a difference, but it's going to take a lot of the people themselves to do a lot of this work. And honestly, I don't think he's too worried about martial law over rural areas, because he basically is the king of the rural areas. So
Yeah.
I don't see that as being a big problem.
Well, the problem, and Washman, you make a good point. Propaganda is mostly how it's maintained after, not necessarily the police force. But the problem is, the police force is the only way they're going to be able to get pew-pews, and they can't control it without those. You know what I mean? Even with the propaganda. The other problem is like, too many people have been woken or been awake for the propaganda. So unless they start doing massive pools of people all at once, like collecting people all at once, not just the way they're doing immigrants slowly trickling in, that they're even snatching up the wrong people and making all this stuff. Like, they wouldn't require that large amount to get the amount of people that are against what's happening. So I think the biggest problem is they're a lot of the base on his side forget that the people that voted, the number of people that voted, we were short. I can't remember the percentage. There's like a certain percentage of the voting population showed up to vote, and it was low. And of the ones that showed up, Kamala only lost by 1%.
Allegedly.
So the number of people that did not vote or voted third party or who just voted for the other people in general do outnumber what we think is the majority party, right? The majority is not actually the MAGA people. Hey, Zach. It's everybody else. And everybody else knows this is happening. So even if they pump out propaganda after propaganda, as long as they allow social media still in any form, it's going to get out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's such a weird spot. And since protests aren't working, they're not, let's be honest. We've had 6 of them now? 5 or 6 of them now, all of them bigger than the last, all of them record numbers for protests in this entire country over its entire history, and barely a peep, right?
Right.
So it makes no sense. Yeah, the stock market is winning. You realize he tanked it multiple times. So any gains it's gotten is just to try to bring it back up to normal levels, and the tariffs are going to shrink it again. Stock market is not as good as you think it is, and that is not the measure of the entire economy. If you think that the stock market is the only way to measure the economy, then you are very sadly mistaken. It's more than that.
I just wish they would be honest about what they really voted, and they first thing out their mouths is either transsexuals or the border problem. That's not what they voted.
Yeah, what kills me is it's usually, that's why I put this on there, the patriotism versus racism, xenophobia. And the fact of the matter is they think that they're being patriotic, but really it's just a mask for their xenophobia or their racism or both.
Yep.
That's why they're going after black and brown people. They're not picking up Europeans that are past their visa, that are illegals. They're not picking up fucking Russian illegals, South African illegals.
They never been able to explain how an illegal look,
Right.
how documented person look. How do they look? How do you tell them from anyone who is a natural born citizen?
And you cannot tell me that they're not picking up people based on just appearance and they're not racially profiling them or ethnically profiling or nationally profiling, whatever you want to call it. You can't tell me they're not doing that because they put out those pictures of Abrego Garcia and his supposed tattoos that meant MS-13, where they literally printed the letters MS-13 on his fucking knuckles in the picture. Like it wasn't obvious. The fuck?
Didn't he just say something recently about bringing back what's the word you just used? Racial profiling. I think I heard something about that recently.
What about the stop and frisk?
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard a lot of them bring it up. I don't know if Trump himself did, but I know that they brought up the stop and frisk, bringing that back. I know I've heard that before. I can't remember who it was who said it. I want to say it was Trump, but that's just because he's liable to say just about any fucking thing. Trump will lose his majority in Congress. Here's the thing, Max. 2026 is a year and a half away. You have to realize that if what we've all been screaming about fascism is true, which every day looks more and more like it is, there's not going to be a midterm. You think they're going to give us a say in what happens now when they've got what they need and want? I don't know.
Even if it mattered, he's been going against the Constitution anyway, so he's been doing what he want to do. I think he's going to do everything he can to prevent an election, honestly, midterms. Because you see they already started, a fair election, like they're doing a gerrymandering in Texas and everything, so I don't know. I'm just worried about 2025 right now.
Right. I'm just trying to make it through this year. But 2026, if we still have elections, great. I would love there to be a majority, but you also have to see, because with what's going on with New York, it looks like there might have been some cheating. And who's to say that won't be the case again?
So if it was proven that he cheated, just if it was proven, what can they do?
The case is looking strong. Well, no, as far as like if it's, I'm only saying that as a proof that.
I understand. I'm just saying.
Yeah. As far as what they can do about it, probably not a damn thing, because he's entrenched now. Like, they're not going to impeach him.
He's been impeached twice, hasn't he?
Yeah, but even if they did manage to get an impeachment vote from at least a handful of Republicans as well, they'd have to vote to
The
remove
problem
him.
is that he's literally being a treasonous person. And we've seen people get impeached for far less.
Mm-hmm.
Far less. Like, it has gone on long enough, which means they don't care.
That's been my point. They don't give a shit. We're not playing with people who play by the rules. That's why I've been finding hope in like the Democratic governors, at least, because they're doing what I've been wanting the senators and congressmen to do. They're fighting back. They're saying what the fuck is what the fuck. They're trying to organize people. They're trying to get people going. The rest of Pritzker, that's who I was trying to say earlier, Pritzker. He's been calling for his constituents and stuff to get out in the streets and start fucking protesting more. So, like, I say, why aren't we should be probably following suit everywhere, but I don't know who, personally, I'd have to figure out how to even organize that locally. I don't know how to do that.
It's like Dagda said in chat, he's a modern day Nero.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Finrinson, how are you?
Nero.
I would say that didn't Nero know how to play the violin? I don't think we can associate Trump with a musical genius like Nero.
I wouldn't compare him to any genius. He's just a figurehead for the his backers, the Heritage Foundation and Putin.
He's been fighting with Putin lately, hasn't he?
No, they're recently made up friends. They're currently about to meet in Alaska to discuss what they're going to do with Ukraine.
What a wild meeting place. What city are they meeting in?
I have no idea why they chose that.
Yeah, because a lot is Putin really wanted to come too close. So just
Exactly,
pick Alaska.
Dagda.
It's hop, skip, and a jump. Remember what did Sarah Palin say? She can see Russian from her window.
I gotta play a piece of shit this week. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna work out. I don't know what we're gonna do. Dagda's up here. Hey, Dagda. All right.
Dugald, I'm gonna step down and take my puppy back out.
All right,
For a
Craig.
minute.
Appreciate you
But
coming
I'll be
in.
down. I'll be in the comments.
All right, you're welcome anytime. You know that. How are you guys doing?
Dagda!
It's been a sweet while since I've been up on a panel or holding it live. Holy macaroni. It's like 5 months, I think.
Oh wow. Been
Just
taking a break?
about.
Been away for a long time. Like a long time. I'm stuck in the Rockies, so like any cloud coverage or anything, my internet drops. So this is a rarity. You had me for a little while.
All right. Well, welcome up. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm really curious to. There's an idea I might do. I might start taking a little bit of a cue from RTP and start looking at news articles during the downtimes while we're waiting for people to come up. But yeah, I might do that. But yeah, I don't know how this is all going to play out because one hand of me thinks, well, shit, they're entrenched. They're not going to get out unless there's unfortunate events. Part of me is like, well, I don't know how else it'll happen if we're doing all the peaceful things and it's just generally being ignored. So,
Well,
I think a big...
Sorry, Dagda, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I think a big contributing factor to your guys' problem would be the outsay of us Canadians and the Mexicans. If we were to actually start joining these causes instead of pushing against them, I think we might have more unity and the rest of the world might actually see something happening.
I actually like the fact
saying,
that
as
Canada and
Canadian-
Mexico's been working toward each other. That's been cool.
Yeah, I do too, but I'm just saying, like, in your guys' like, no kings the Queens and whatever it is, like we could actually kind of join you in that in our country and show the backing and support that you guys actually need, which I think would go a far way to show not only the rest of the world, but the people in the States that this isn't okay.
I like that idea, but what's funny is like that has been happening, just not. I don't know that it's necessarily been happening in Canada. Well, it has happened a couple times in Canada, but not
couple times, not very often.
Yeah.
We definitely aren't involved as much as we used to be with your guys' politics. I will admit that. From the 90s to the 2000s, we lost quite a bit of influential pull to your guys' politics and how we have sway. Which is why I'm saying this now as a Canadian myself. Seeing and just coming out of a fascist grip for the past 9 years, I do understand, like, you guys are on the other spectrum of a warmongering, disgusting fascist in comparison to where we were, like, more controlled, taking away our liberties, taking away our actual, like, charter of rights on media and freedom of expression, and arresting people on the streets that speak out about it. So, like, we do understand. It's just, I think there needs to be a bridge that comes in for us to make that peace, because not all Americans are MAGA. And that's where our news comes into play and puts that propaganda in. And shut up, Rolly.
Rolly.
Rolly's not wrong.
Yes. I'm sorry, I am Irish and Celtic and also Italian, but I do know that, yes, we are not sovereign. We do share actually just struck up a different treaty towards the UK, but not, we are still part of the British.
Oh my gosh, Jeremy, are you in here?
Who?
I just got a notification.
And we don't have
I'm
a king
sorry.
either in Canada. We have a prime minister who answers to a multi-leveled facet of government. So there's a prime minister, and then there's many others that run each province. But those ones that run each province has a safety net, which answers to a lot more politicians under them. And then it comes back to the people. So, like, we have a multi-layered government system. Does it fail at times? Yes, it's never perfect. No government will ever be perfect.
I'm so tired of governments and parliaments.
Uprising. Like,
I'm
if
tired of
we
them.
just destroyed all the borders and allowed things to be opened and sell seashells and oil and lanterns and whatever you could think of, like, the world would be a better place. Yes, it would.
I think
We have bartering system.
we have a breaking point.
We don't have that.
We have a breaking
I know.
point in the U.S., which is November 4th.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I think once if Mamdani gets in, if he gets elected, and Trump follows through with what he says, I think we're going to see quite the break. I'm trying to avoid TikTok TOS here, but I think that's definitely going to be the breaking point in this country.
I don't disagree with you, and I am hoping like heck that's exactly what your country needs. As an outside view, like, I can only hope you guys the best. Because, like I said, on the other spectrum, we went through this. We had our media taken away, like our freedom to media, our freedom to expression, which is in our Charter of Rights. We've had other things taken away from our Charter of Rights, including the access to Crown land, which is all land. We've had our water rights sold, our electrical rights sold, and our land rights sold. So, like, we do understand that. And this doesn't just go to me, this also goes to the, like, couple dozen treaties that they have across the nation with the native people. So like they're disaboweling these treaties that they have to help Cheeto Man. And that's where we're starting to cut it off. Like, we're like, no. And unfortunately, it's turning a bad taste in Canadians' mouths towards Americans. And I think it should be the other way around. We should be supporting you guys more so through this BS.
Yeah.
And through the indoctrination and through everything that Canada has seen, including the mass graves and Christian schools that, you know, did what they did to the Aboriginals of this land, or First Nations, however you want to put it. And like, we have a lot to learn as a white culture. We really do. And I even say that being Irish and being in the 1600s sold as white cargo. Like, we really have a lot to learn as white people to what this world needs and how it should be done. We need to take a step back.
I don't disagree, and I do wish that the rest of the world would take away that, yes, the majority of the U.S. is not what is currently in power. Unfortunately, our system is not perfect, and it is allowed for this ridiculousness to be what we're all dealing with. But I also know that it's none of their faults. So if they are mad, I get it, because he's up out there messing a whole bunch of shit up. And the base that did vote for him, the people that did vote for him, should have known better, because more than enough of us were screaming about it beforehand. So, I don't know. I am in a place where I just don't know what we're going to have to do from here. I'm going to have to really dive and figure out something, somewhere.
Well, that's why I'm hoping, even though I'm just a little ripple in a gigantic ocean of a country, that I can persuade enough people to start seeing things like I do, or at least having an idealism that we are all here. Doesn't matter if you're from the States or not. What's happening there is incorrect, it's wrong. Your guys' rights are being violated, your human rights are being violated, your understanding, your school systems are being taken away from you, your educational systems are being depleted. Like, everything is under attack. It's not okay. And I'm hoping that one Canadian or two might start standing up and saying something about this. Like, that's all I care about. Like, if I can sway one or two people, man, I'm doing a good job.
Yeah. My hope is that I can grow a community big enough on like my Discord or something that we can start being more communicative, especially with what's coming and has been going on. But I don't know if we're too late on that. So keep pushing for it. So join the Discord, y'all. It's links in my bio. It's free to open for everybody. And I have a lot of things in there for people to post for and about. Lots of channels, lots of rooms, and people to help out with that. But the other thing of it is, like, I'm looking, I join all the things, you know, you're supposed to, the protests. So, I look at all the activist stuff you're supposed to do. I try to switch the money where I spend it so it's not going to billionaires and it's going to minority groups and all those things. But, like, I don't feel like enough people have gotten over their apathy for anything to happen before the impending violence that is likely to go down happens.
I can give you a one-word answer to that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, two-word.
Okay.
Christian nationalism.
Well, yeah.
And full temp, like full bold and asterisk, Christian.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. 2,500 years, man, this world's been under that rule and thumb. Beaten into us, smashed into us, destroyed, genocided, pillaged, destroyed all knowledge, taken away science. Yeah, we're really behind in times because of it.
We've been using it to beat people up with instead of, learning. Just been appropriating everything that we destroy.
100%. And Wishman, I live in rural Alberta right now. I'm in the middle of the Rockies, outside of Hinton. I 100% understand what you're saying. I am Canadian.
A new one for me.
Yeah, that's what we call them in Canada, maple maga. Like, literally. I'm literally living in the rural areas. I don't care. I'm moving in like 2 hours, not even 2 hours, like a half an hour. So people can know where I am.
Ugh. Shy away from Montana. More than just Montana. There's not a lot of safe places. I do love the fact that
There's like
Donald Trump was all bragging like, no, tourism's great. Tourism's fine in America. It's doing great. And then they came out with the tourism numbers and they have completely tanked. Like, nobody comes here anymore.
And I'm going to tell you this right now. About 14 countries, to my knowledge, including Canada, has blacklisted the states.
Oh.
And I don't know if you understand what blacklisting is, but it's bad.
Getting into a country, you can't get there anymore.
Yep. Well, they blacklist it, meaning like they will highlight you, and if you don't come back within an X period of time, the government will start to expedite it and go after them. Now, in Canada alone, there's been 68 people not returned back to Canada that are held under ICE.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Hey, Dr. Joe. Yeah, I don't know.
And we're right next door.
Yeah.
Still the
Literally.
same white, still same color and everything. It's just because we're Canadian.
We're at the top of the hour. Should I do a restart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right, y'all. I'll be right back.
Then God spoke all these words.
There we go. All right.
I love how Hey Bloom. Hey Shadow. post your sticker. Benny, I sent you a response. I don't know if my message made sense, but yeah.
Why can't you bring people up?
When host is away, we can't. Yeah.
That's weird. That's strange. All right. All the shares. Eventually, I'm planning on making videos this weekend. Finally.
You're gonna start posting on your page.
Yeah, finally.
You know that it'll actually bring you some traction when you're. Yeah.
I know. Just not a huge fan of recording myself.
Yeah, that's been my issue lately too. Is I got a bunch of stuff I need to record, and every time I look at my recording button, I'm like, no.
If nobody wants to hear me like this, what are we doing?
Yeah. Like I can jump into any live and sing and dance and whatever, but as soon as I look at a record button, it's totally different. It's a strange mental block.
All right. Let's see if this helps anything. I hate sharing the live out because I can't tell. With everybody I share to, I can't tell if I already shared to them or not by the time I get to so many. So like, I don't know if I'm sending it to like the same person 15 times or just or what it is. I don't know what's going on.
Think what it is, and I pick up because, well, not just because I'm getting messages on Discord, but I was able to see in the Deconstruction channel that your thing is linked to it now, so it lets me know when you're live now, finally, because TikTok, you have notifications on, and it still will not tell you when someone's live.
I use the @ here on the Decon one. Hold on.
Okay. He picked up on it. Oh.
Hold on. I know where else to share to.
There you are.
I'm wondering something because I've noticed a lot of these lives have been getting less and less oppositional guests.
We're getting filtered.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Also, I wonder if people are just not going into oppositional lives anymore.
Well, most of it is the new
Thank you, Benny.
TOS that they have out. Like the new TOS will flag people that do have topics that are of religion base, Christian nationalism, and other things. So blacklisted.
Yeah, when I tried to send a message pertaining to what's been said of a certain law, I got flagged for misinformation in a DM, mind you.
Took my account down for a week, Hanji.
This is why I am going to start as soon as one of the other apps gets a live feature. Hopefully Skylight.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. So Neptune is up and running. The thing is that you need the key codes from their Discord server, and it is put at random. I was like, you know what?
You have to do it
Fuck
every
that
time
shit.
you log in.
No, it's to actually set up your account.
Hmm. If it's creator ran, I might be willing to do it, but I want to know when Skylight's going to come out with a live feature because it looks just like TikTok. Like, so I'd rather be on one I already know. You know what I mean? If I can.
Oh, see, Benny has Neptune access and says that it's going to need a lot of work.
And they don't have live either.
Duh.
Oh. So Neptune doesn't have live either? I thought that was one of the whole.
No, from what I've been seeing from the screenshots, there is no live feature.
Well, I know Skylight doesn't have one, but they did say they want to have one. And they're working toward it, but I don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah, it looks like a high schooler like programmed it. I don't know if like that's just what their beta looks like, but it's rough.
Their beta's been out for a while.
I know, and like posting videos, you like it. That's rough. It's very, very like just you're not missing anything by not having beta access. Just trust me on that.
Well, I know Skylight, it looks just like this, but so does Red Note. But from what I understand, Red Note's live ability you have to pay for? Something?
For live streaming,
Note?
yes.
And Red Note also has a lot of like things you can't do.
Yeah.
And religion is one of them.
Yeah, they are very
anything that
anti-religion.
we do.
Or not Red
like
Note, I'm
a
sorry.
no-no.
I was thinking not Red Note. Favorited, I mean. Favorited. That's the one that also looks just like this one.
I don't
We
have
don't
that
have
one.
them here.
Huh?
I don't have that one. And Dagda said they don't have them there.
I have to look into that one more, but that one's got people live on it all the time, and it looks just like this app does, but there was something about the live thing that I don't remember.
So what I'm seeing, because I'm starting to see like people that horizontally go live on YouTube are now going vertically through like StreamYard and Restream.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say YouTube is just the way to go. Like, and like
I'm already planning on doing YouTube.
YouTube
Yeah.
has guest access right now. Like if you just want to use your phone, you don't have to use a computer. You
That's
just have
true.
to turn the guest feature on right before you go live, and then it'll give you a link. You copy that link, put it in your description or in your chat, and people can click that link and become a guest. And then it just, you can cycle them out.
Mm.
And also with everyone doing OBS and Studio with this app, Jaren's numbers have skyrocketed since he's done that.
I'll have to start doing that. That's what I want to start making videos for this weekend anyway. But I don't have enough followers on YouTube to do it from my phone. I'll have to do it from my computer.
Wait, what did Jaren do that got him more?
Streaming from his computer, not through YouTube, but using his computer for TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Like his numbers are steadily 280 plus now.
Because they want people to use the damn studio.
Yeah.
It's the studio that counts. I'm not going to disagree with that, especially when you have a larger
It definitely-
CPU and processing unit. It allows a lot more people to be into your channel, and your quote-unquote operating system isn't going to crash on it as long as you have enough RAM and your CPU is capable of handling
Oh
it.
yeah, I just had a brand new computer built for it. So I just
Perfect.
Joe,
You're
I
set.
just don't like studio, and I don't like the setup that my camera and so the only ring light I have is this tall one. So I need one that's just for a desk setup because I don't like it. My camera's not my favorite either, but it's just a small one, so I don't have a way to put it in the right place. I don't know what to do about that yet either. I have to figure out.
I bought one of those OBS bot cameras, and I have a tall ring light too, and I was doing good there, but then I caught this banana. I was gonna go live this week too. I didn't go live last week because I had a bunch of crap I was doing, and then the week before that it was the mod purge of 2025 with Justin's channel. Oh my god, that was the worst thing ever. And
Wait, did I get purged as a mod?
no, but a bunch of people did, and it just caused a lot of like
Dramas.
I was one.
drama and like I don't and I think everything's good now. It's just it was a lot, but we had to get rid of a few people because they were saying some pretty wild stuff, and some people just like said they were done and they aren't going to do it anymore.
Okay. I don't do it as often as I used to, but I have been doing it a lot more lately.
Well, for YouTube is more so. What happened was like people were arguing with the mods and they were doing super chats to like snipe the mods, and Justin doesn't know what's going on because there's like thousands of people. So
He
he's
doesn't
just
pay attention to the chat either.
yeah, and so what he did is he just like purged anybody that he didn't recognize or like that he hasn't like talked to in a while or anything. So
It's constant.
a lot of people took it personally, and I don't think it was meant to be personally. Yeah.
I had that problem recently because there are some problematic people that were mods that I just had to cut and just like, yeah, just doing cutbacks, just kind of cleaning things up. Sorry. Hanji knows which one I did specifically. That's only because they got argumentative with
Fuck
people.
the state of Israel, fuck the USA, fuck every single American, and I hope that 9/11 happens again and even worse.
I hope you suck a Canadian donkey dink.
Wow.
So like obviously
Say it with your whole chest, buddy.
bro, you are American, so like what?
Right.
Like unless you're trying very hard to have an American accent.
Crazy work.
Oh, fuck, but I don't know. If you want to fucking have an American accent, I'm American too, eh? Holy fuck.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
You don't even know I'm North American. Holy shit, bro.
That's like there's some like people that
Oh,
I'm like,
fuck,
I
eh?
can't tell if you're Scandinavian or if you're Norwegian or some sort of European or Canadian.
Or just from Wisconsin.
Yeah, or
That's problems.
Or
just
you're fucking Canadian, eh? Holy fuck, bro.
That's too funny.
I really had to pull that out.
That's all right. I'm okay with it.
my favorite accent is like the neurotic like New Englander, like, oh God. This is so neurotic.
God, what are you doing? Oh, there is no other thing in here. Oh, God.
I remember this lady.
I still pull out that Canadian accent on it.
There's this lady that called me when I was working at a call center, and her name was Marilyn Sylvester.
Oh my.
And I don't want to dox her, but it was close to that. And she was from Rochester, and it was just the most neurotic thing ever.
I might be a Canadian someday if as long as gay marriage still sticks around, because my partner is dual citizen, Canadian and American, U.S. American. So yeah, when we get married, I will get to be a citizen of Canada if shit hits the fan and we need to flee somehow.
So I'll let everybody in on something kind of wild that's happening. Oh, by the way, my mom has cancer, which is not good, but it's not pancreatic cancer, which we thought it was going to be. And so that's a good thing. It's treatable. So, but anyways, beyond that, I had cancer just a year or two ago, a year and a half ago, and I was up in my hometown and I got this ad that was like, have you gotten testicular cancer from like drinking water? If you have, like, go to this website. So I was like, yeah, I definitely had it, you know, and it was out of nowhere. So I go to the website and now I'm like linked up with some like law group that's part of some huge like whatchamacallit, like a class action lawsuit for drinking waters, which I can relate back to Trump and RFK because they are trying to get forever chemicals deregulated again. And it is forever chemicals that are like this link to cancer. It's like 3M and DuPont. 3M made a lot of like Scotch Guard. They don't make that anymore, or they don't sell that anymore because, it was, you know, like non-stick stuff. And also there was like some like fire foam thing that like military places. Well, anyways, so there's like all these different zip codes, and my hometown, the river that I lived right next to, like I lived on the river basically, popped hot for these forever chemicals. And so I'm hoping I get a payout because I got it twice.
Listen, last time I joined a class action lawsuit, I got $11.
I have a moral question.
Yeah, go on.
Sure.
So we keep on dancing around the whole like, oh, you know, things are gonna come down the wire. And I've been having a moral quandary about, because a lot of people are saying about how they're gonna leave. And my moral quandary is that I am a mostly able-bodied, mostly neurotypical individual. Do I have the obligation to stay and help?
Unless you want to.
It's subjective. It's up to you. I mean,
I feel like I do.
Then why you'd have to explore why you feel that way.
Because a lot of the people that I need to get out and a lot of the people that I know need to get out don't have that ability. And I feel like it would be morally reprehensible of me to just leave and watch the thing burn and not help also those who are not able to get out as easily as I.
Okay,
I get
so
that.
as somebody's neighbor, like our borders are still open. We are actually one of the few countries that is an asylum country. No matter what, the government cannot shut that down. They will not shut that down, which is a reason why we've taken so much around the world into our own country.
Really quick,
Look,
Jack,
we're
one
Canadian.
question. Do you think that would 100% still stick if the hat that you are above suddenly lights on fire?
If it lights on fire, we're still going to have us Canadians to run our country for us. It's a multifaceted country. It's not just one.
What are the
control unit
qualifications
like you guys have?
to seek
Gosh,
asylum?
you could be qualifications to seek asylum. I'll have to. I can't put it on here because it's so big.
Discord me.
I
Discord
can-
me.
If I remember correctly,
I'll
they
definitely
loosened.
Discord you.
They loosened.
It's not that hard, Hanji. Like honestly, with Phoenix coming up here because I can claim her as my significant other, non-married. They have a 3-year basis to be living here to get their permanent residency, and then from there they can go into getting their Canadianship, which is maybe 5 to 7 years.
Okay.
They actually recently, because
Other
of all
than
the
that,
stuff going
it's
on in
only
the
3
U.S.
years to get.
Because of all the stuff going on in the U.S., Canada actually loosened their asylum laws.
Yeah, I get
Yes.
that's happening. My question is if the border itself is Again, I'm trying to.
You cannot close the border. Canada owns half of the border. Not to mention that 1812, your guys' first actual separation from the Brits and Canada happened from when it was Upper and Lower Canada to Canada and the United States. Then you would see something happening there. But even then, we still see ourselves as North American. As a Canadian, we will always allow those who are in need, whether American, Japanese, Chinese, Australian, to come into our country and seek asylum if they have the things deemed to seek for asylum. Now, APAC people, bi, and LGBTQ+, all have that right coming into Canada because we are a country that recognizes that as a civil right.
Here's my hypothesis of why I don't think that's going to stick. So
It already did. We had a court junction already happen. No, wait. An American to go back to the States because they were in trouble, and the government was going to prosecute them because they were of a different gender than assigned at birth.
But I'm not talking about that happen here. I'm not talking about one individual. I'm talking about millions.
Yeah.
All at once.
If it happens for one in our court society, it has to be allowed indefinitely for others. It's a pass. That's how Canada works that way. That's the unfortunate part of Canada because we can allow a lot of fucking bullshit into it.
Rape nigger kids, kill nigger kids, niggers.
What are you talking about, child? But like, there are problems in every government we see. I'm just giving an example of a country that's willing to allow people to come in, regardless of their race, gender, or how they ideal themselves. We are here. Like, feel free to come into our country. Like, please do.
On a larger, it would probably be like, the greater government would have to create like a triage situation where they have things in place where like mass, like expatriation.
But I'm talking about the population of Chicago, of Buffalo, New York, suddenly flooding the borders,
Okay, I'll give you an example in comparison to the States. 4.6% of Canada's landmass is lived on. And that's an actual statistic. You can look that up. 4.6% of our landmass is lived on. Do you understand how much landmass Canada actually has?
I would agree.
It's a lot bigger than the States.
Doug, I agree with you.
So we have no problem.
I would agree with you, but we have an entire Midwest that's
problem is actually holding and being able to have the infrastructure for those people. We would have to have bigger infrastructure in place to bring more people in, which is our problem right now. We don't have enough infrastructure. Like I said, I understand how my system works, and I understand the problems for it, and having the floodgates opens does cause problems, but it allows people more opportunity in a country that's willing to have them without that negated presence of what color or what race or where you came from or what religion. That's the difference. It's a huge difference.
Personally,
people here do actually succeed and get really good lives and travel, do all sorts of great things for themselves, including myself. I'm a 38-year-old male who had his back broken and went into psychology and still is a chef. I work as a chef to this day and I still travel. Like, I have opportunity in front of me. There's never been a point where it's never been taken away to the point where we see the States today. That's where I'm coming from.
Personally, I think like if it were to the point to where like the population of Chicago or like New York or something were to be moving, we would get into an area of like where states would start closing off sections of the country, where like New England would probably shut itself off, and like
Benny, that's actually happening in the red states. The red states that are attached to Canada have cut the borders. They are not allowing people to cross. It's only the blue states.
yeah. So like, you know, there could be, you know, some weird dividing going on that way. It's kind of like that movie Civil War. Like if you watch that movie, I mean, even though I think they like had Canada or not, sorry, they had Texas and California joining up, but you know, as a fictional kind of what if, it's really probably not too far from what would go down. I think California would be a sanctuary state. You know, there would be a couple, probably the whole West Coast.
If
As
it
for
wasn't
like the
for
Midwest,
California flipping, they would be they totally would be. I agree with that.
yeah, and I'm sure like they would work with Canada and probably even Mexico a little bit.
Well, the problem is that California is not completely a blue state, right? You would have
That's why I called it a switch.
you would have these cities that would be like fortresses against the rural.
I think you
militias
guys
that
call it
outside.
swing.
Wait, Dago, one
Swing
second.
state.
So like the issue is that like, so we would have like, even in New York where I live, the cities are Democratic bulwarks. New York City is a Democratic bulwark, but everything outside of the city between here and Albany is red as red can be. So what you have at this point
That
are,
explains a lot.
yeah, what you have at this point is these issues of, so the fire goes off, right? Lots of people are fleeing all at once, and realpolitik is telling me in my head that Canada is going to change its policies real freaking quick to A, not get drawn in, and or unless the EU decides that they want to join, or NATO, but the massive amount of refugees would have there's going to be a massive change in policy. I can't foresee any way that Canada is not going to do it.
Okay, can I explain something? Since the early 80s, I was only born in 87, so I can only speak from like 92 and on. But even remembering from 92 and on, we've always had boatloads, and I mean boatloads, of people coming to Canada as refugees. We've very seldomly sent boats back. Like, we've had to. I'm not going to disagree with that. But we do understand, like, our growth can only be as capable as what we produce. And if you don't have a close control of that, or an understanding of it, yes. Like, could we take in, say, like, 3 states? As long as they help produce and help grow the country, yes, we could sustain that. But it's only if, and that's the big thing. Is this an if? It's not saying it for sure. That's a big if. Right? Like, so I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm actually agreeing with you and saying, like, we would have to have big factors in play and be able to have that understanding and control as well as allowance for failure.
I honestly, like, just from like my undergrad was in history and like diplomacy and American history, modern American history. I trust too much in the actual like systems to fail.
What
Like,
system is left though, Benny?
They have to fail. They have to. Every system will fail.
I think that this is a major stress test, and I think that there's nothing wrong with like looking at the worst case scenarios, and that's like a real thing that we all need to kind of keep in mind. But like when it comes down to it, like each state can become their own like sovereign nation, and like even beyond that, there's a lot more reasonable people out there than there are unreasonable people. They will let it go. I mean, it really saddens me that like the wake up point hasn't hit yet for a lot of people, because it really freaking should.
I think, really quick, Vinny, I think a balkanization of the U.S. would be a lot worse in the long term than a decisive CW.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that personally, like, what would probably happen in like an actual like constitutional Congress would have to be like held, and then like shit would have to get straightened out, and there would probably be, and hopefully, you know, like it's done in a manner that is diplomatic, because people are going to be upset either way things are done. But this is like, once we get to a point of no return. Have we gotten to that point yet? I don't know. I don't know if we've gotten to that point yet.
Well, but here's the thing, though, Vinny. Like, the main system is broken. He's already demolished that. He's got immunity. He's allowed to do whatever he wants, and Congress and Senate ain't doing shit about it. And the Supreme Court has given him carte blanche to do whatever. So there's nothing there anymore. Like, he's made executive orders to issue tariffs when he was never supposed to be able to touch tariffs to begin with. That's Congress and Senate's job to be dealing with the purse. But no, here he is doing it however he wants. And the biggest problem is when you're talking about this constitutional Congress, great, but do we have enough Democratic governors to call one? Do we have enough people to call one? Do we have a mechanism to call one that he can't impede?
It's kind of like it's a bridge that I guess we won't know until we cross it. Like, it's scary. It's scary times, and I can't believe we've even gotten this far. Like, I'm so ashamed at, you know, like the population of America to allow for such unilateral, like, power grabbing. And honestly, like, people need to wake up and like, I don't want to be like, oh, both sides, because it definitely is not both sides. But the real problem is the rich versus the poor. You know, it's the bourgeoisie versus the you know, the proletariat, the working class. And it's been that way. And, you know, like, for years, like, that's what happened in Russia with the Bolsheviks. It's what happened sort of in Germany. It's what happened, you know, in a lot of different places where it happened in Iran, actually, when the Shah, like, came up. That's part of why the Shah was, like, kind of taken over. And now the, you know, the imams are, you know, the Muslim, like, Sharia law is in place. And that's because the rich class, like, let the poor people suffer too much. But every single time that happens, the lesser people that are more of them rise up. They do every single time. It's like,
how do you motivate that, though, when the biggest problem is not just poor versus rich? It's also Neo Sapiens versus all the people of color, because of the deep racism in this country. A lot of the people that you're talking about, I understand what you're saying, but a lot of the people here that you're talking about are not going to help them, no matter what direction it is.
And also the issue is that, like, a lot of the poor in this country side with the bourgeois. Like, a vast, like, what, 45%?
Look, how many of them are convinced that billionaires are going to help them?
Yeah. There's a breaking point, though, right? Like, think about France. Think about, you know, like I said, Russia with the Bolsheviks. Like, this happens. This has happened in other empires. This has happened
even
over and over.
Look how much
I will put this in.
Look how much casualty to that, though. I think France would handle that kind of casualty.
I think France was an entirely different scenario, because that was like everyone versus the monarchy. Even the rich, like, merchants joined with the revolutionaries, and the academics joined with the revolutionaries.
Yeah, ideologically, they're going to be able to convince the poor for a little bit, but sooner or later, like, the real life, like, effects are going to, like, be too much, you know, to where people won't stand for it because they literally like can't live that way.
Danny, I don't agree with you because we're seeing POC Trump supporters watching their spouses get deported and they're still supporting Trump. Like, that's how crazy things are getting at this point.
Like, their red line was not him raping women. Their red line is not picking up random citizens and detaining them because they're being racially profiled. The line has not been picking fights with other countries. The line has not been being in bed with billionaires and oligarchs and dictators. The line, I don't know where their line is going to be done. That's what I'm worried about. I don't know where their line is going to be because they don't seem to care how much they suffer because prices have gone up exponentially.
It will be probably like a depression level type of situation where like third world country-ish like living conditions, and like where the rich are sitting in walled off, kind of fiefdoms, while the, less rich are out there defend for themselves. The fact that we're even like discussing this is super disgusting to me. Like, it's gross that this is even like a possibility. I don't know how like it could have come to this, but I mean,
have you ever read The Iron Heel by Jack London?
I haven't. No.
It's like his ode de socialism. And it's a really good book. It's a little sci-fi-ish, which is interesting coming from Jack London. But I would definitely ask you to read that.
What was it called again? Sorry, I just
The Iron Heel by Jack London.
Oh, okay. I just like in my studies of history, like.
Usually gives. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I was gonna say like it's going not every like all things.
But my contention isn't that that's the case because I understand that. But my problem is I am very concerned at the level of casualty and the level of the fact that this country will never, if that goes down, will not be the same or even close to any type of normalcy for anybody for many, many, many decades.
Yeah, the damage that's being done is going to take decades.
Well, right now, yeah, but that's all policy stuff, which can be done, behind, however normal system works. But like, if we're talking about what you're saying and what I feel is going to wind up happening, we're talking a lot of people.
All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta take a phone call. I will talk to you all later.
All right, bye, Finneran, and thanks for calling.
I'm sorry, but like a couple of months ago when I heard about a certain state putting people to have markers on their jackets or clothing to identify themselves as either American or non or sub or you know what I'm getting at. I heard that like 6-7 months ago. A state allowing that to happen, I automatically, as a Canadian, being like, yeah, no, here we are. Concentration camps, yep. 100%.
That was the other thing.
And it's happening. It's happening in front of my eyes.
Yeah, Alligator Alcatraz wasn't a red line for them either.
Oh, no, not at all.
They're cheering it on.
It made them happy.
Feed people to alligators. Because we've done it before.
And that could be part of the, like the long game of everybody becoming too selfish to I got mine, fuck you, kind of.
That was created by the boomer generation. That's their entire setup was that.
Yeah.
Did everything
created by our parents.
And shut the door behind us so that everybody after us can fuck off.
Yeah, and that's wild because, yeah.
The boomer generation, like my mother worked for the government as well, right? She makes more with the retirement that she has from her boomer generation working there. She makes more on her retirement than she did when she worked there. I do not have that same thing. She has pension, or not pension, but her retirement. She's got, money she was easily able to save up because the house they had was super cheap at the time, even though at the time to them it might have been something, but it was only 40 grand or whatever. And, two incomes making close to, 50K to 100K after, between the 90s or from the 80s to the early 2000s, like it was easy for them. They'll tell you it wasn't. But that's because they fucked up and voted for a lot of shit that fucked everybody else after them.
Yeah, complacency is really, really rough. Like, there's a book that I read called Poverty by America by Matthew Dimond, I think. Mm-hmm. And it talks about like complacency and how people don't really care to help others because, they got theirs, they're doing all right. Or, like they won't like try and help until they need help, kind of thing. Or like advocate for help until they need it. And it's this like idea of, what was it called? Oh, I'd have to pull up my notes on it. But basically that everybody lives in their own like little castle, like as long as, they got their house and their like living situation and that they can kind of do their little thing. It doesn't really matter if anybody else is doing worse. Mm-hmm. And you see that reflected a lot in like a lot of these, like debate, like as political debate ones. Like I will see a lot of right wingers that when like the discussion of like universal healthcare comes up, I will see a lot of right wingers that are like, why do I have to pay for you to eat, sugars and fats and stuff when I'm healthy and I got my insurance? Why should I have to pay for your, and they don't
realize that with the grocery system that they go to and pay for themselves, they don't see that sugary shit and all that other stuff is what's actually the cheapest.
Well, and they're already paying for other people's health care, because Medicare and Medicaid is already coming out of their taxes. Right. And like worst case scenario for a person, if they can't get private insurance, it's just, it would be balancing the... Not as much
anymore. A lot of that Medicare stuff is not going to them. I bet you anything they don't drop the Medicare tax after all those cuts they made to it. But they sure as shit are going to keep taking that amount of money.
Right.
Where's that going?
That's going to the tax cuts for the rich.
Either that or it's going to this hike in ice.
So can I give you guys an example of something that's like actually affected me as a Canadian that you guys have done?
Sure.
So like I recently moved to Alberta. I used to work here back in like the early 2000s, late 90s on the oil rigs as a chef. I recently came back and I've had to go in for blood work and tests and exams and x-rays and all these other things. And now, because they're like wanting to be the States, like we call it the Texas of Canada, and they literally have privatized healthcare. I have to send in requisitions to my province to get health care coverage, and I pay it out of my own pocket. Instead of how every other province works, they just build a province on their own. Like, we are moving into privatized healthcare in Alberta, and it fucking sucks the biggest donkey dank ever. And that's as polite as I can be.
Yeah. All right,
what are we even talking about at this point?
We were
You heard
talking
what I
in
said.
general.
Shut up.
Are we talking about what are we
First of
talking
all, how old
about?
are both of you?
Yeah, can we get an age?
I cannot say my age. I am 21.
No, you're not.
That's all I can say.
No,
I
you're not.
can't share my personal information.
Then I'm not giving to
I'm 38, Canada. Haha, I can share my personal information.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
I can't share my personal information. Your age? All you have to say is, are you over 21? You don't even have to tell us your specific age.
Well, he did say that, but it wasn't until after he said, I won't
Oh,
give you
yeah,
my age.
yeah.
So I'm just like, well, now I don't trust the number that you gave me. So
Sus is sus. Yeah, for sure.
Came in at the same time too. I blocked both of them.
weird.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of weird brother, sister, or husband, wife tag team thing.
It definitely
I'm
a
going
tag
to
team.
troll these guys. It's Kermit the Frog here. So it's been a long time since I talked to you guys.
All right, you guys. We have not had a single solitary op this entire time. And not very many people want to come up to talk in general. So,
I mean, the discussion is needed, though. I feel.
yeah, I agree with you. And I think we've had a pretty good one so far. But I am going to go ahead and wrap it up.
You're doing great on YouTube. You got 152 people watching.
Well,
I
why
wish-
did that does this when ain't nobody to talk to?
I know. YouTubers, get on TikTok mobile. Come over. We'll talk
over
about
and talk.
Jesus. We'll talk about how Jesus is not the Messiah.
Right, like I've got a Christian topic up here to talk to you about if you want.
Yeah, like I can go over the messianic prophecies that Jesus definitely did not fulfill, and that also like disqualifies Christianity as a religion, if you ask me, which makes it even more so ridiculous that people try and say that America is a Christian country, like based off of Christian values, when I say Christianity is a false religion. It's a fake. It's a fraud.
Well, I might also
It's a
add
cult
that I
of
was in seminary school. Well, my Christian teachers knew I was a pagan.
oh, we're getting a raid from Fluff, so I guess we'll hang out for sure. All right. So threw me off. Now, shit. That
Hey,
was-
Fluff, right?
I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Christian nation. I don't know. I said a lot of things.
I don't remember what I was gonna say though. Happens at least once alive. We all know it. Damn my ADHD. Oh well. So do me a favor. If we're gonna hang out for a little bit, since Fluff is, I guess, sending a raid over, tap screen, share the live. I'll stay on for a little while longer. We'll see what happens.
James Stahl over there on YouTube. God does not serve me. God, if anything, abandoned me. Because in Leviticus 22, he says that those people that have damaged testicles are not welcome in the temple of God. Guess what? I had testicular cancer twice. I lost both of them. So, and you know, that law is actually some weird kind of like eugenics stuff where they're trying to like keep the blood pure for the Israelites. So, yeah.
Well, Jesus was a xenophobe if he existed at all.
Right.
Just so you know.
The letter J was invented recently. His name is Yeshua. That means nothing.
I can't roll my eyes any harder.
So, I'm sorry, but my name is Yeshua. Does that mean I'm your prophet?
Right. What's in a name? Seriously. Like what?
Hanji can agree to this one. My name is actually Yeshua.
Yeah, his
Like,
yeah, it's legit his name. He's not
Is it
even
for real?
kidding.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's serious.
Yeshua,
I didn't know that.
Joshua
That's
Marcus
awesome, actually.
McConnell. I changed it to Joshua Mark McConnell, but my original name was Yeshua.
Damn.
I am Yeshua the pagan.
They think if they add enough Yeshuas or Shuas on it, at this point, it's like, I've seen so many variations now. It's like Yeshua, Shawaswa, Hua, Shua.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
My
Yeshua.
Shut up, Honda.
Right.
Yeshua is my favorite, Benny. That was great. I love it.
Sean in the chat over there, the Levitical law was for God's people at that time. Christians are under a new covenant. Wrong.
Come on up and talk about that.
Yeah, come on
up and
over.
talk.
Let's talk about how Jesus actually said that he did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. And when you fulfill a law,
You're
not
taking my
a law.
favorite verse.
Yeah, Matthew 5.
That is my favorite verse. Like, honestly, Matthew 5:18.
I
Favorite
don't know
verse.
why they think that fulfill means the same thing as abolish when he literally says I came not to abolish it. They're like, well, you fulfilled it. That means it's not necessary.
You know,
and I'm like, no, that's not what
because
that
they have a grade 6 education, man.
means. That's not what that fucking means.
It is.
Like, if you actually read like the words of Jesus in the New Testament, you would see over and over again him fighting for the Messiah, like the Mosaic law, the law of the Torah.
Yeah. All right, Baha, are you over 21?
I'm sorry, what's up?
Are you over 21?
Yeah, I'm 26.
Perfect. What topic did you want to talk about?
It's a interesting prompt. I agree with the U.S. patriotism is not racism and all that other fun stuff. Christianity's effects on society, civilization. If we're talking about purely in the, I guess, sense of like from an American standpoint, I believe Christianity in its current form has been weaponized to indoctrinate low IQ individuals and those who don't necessarily know how to actually articulate themselves correctly.
Do you think that's not true across the world as well?
I mean, it is, but I mean, speaking specifically for America's,
So, if it's like that in the U.S. and it's always been that way, and it's like that in the rest of the world and it's always been that way, so what is to make us think that it's not Christianity itself?
I mean, it's just a tool being used.
But if they're able to use the scripture, the doctrines, the dogma, the God itself, and the things he says to justify the things that they use to make it a weapon, then again, I ask, how do we know it's not Christianity? That's the problem.
I mean, that's a fair point. I'm under the personal opinion that as far as if we're talking about politics or how governing, Jesus, I'm sorry. I just got off of it. But governing is concerned in policy making, if religion is involved in any form or facet, it is regressive in nature. It's not additive at all where we are at as a society. And I do believe that it can be applied to really any religion. Just, again, speaking for the petri dish that is the American populace, it is being weaponized.
Well, the problem is you really can't use it for every religion. I can give you that for, like, say, Scientology or Islam, right? Because you guys, you three, Scientology obviously to a smaller degree, have massive recruiting efforts and conversion efforts, right? No other religion has that. Most religions are cultural, so they don't want new people. So they will try to govern other people.
Yeah,
I would say that's very incorrect.
How is that incorrect?
Based on my own experience, is that you're supposed to lead people to the house of God or the words of, Jesus Christ through the action, your behavior.
Abrahamic, that's not other religions. That's basically the Abrahamic branch, which is also Judaism and Islam.
But Judaism doesn't recruit, though.
They don't. It's a closed practice.
I mean,
Go ahead.
but I mean, in the same sense that, like, I would say the American Baptist Church is a weaponized Christianity. It's on par with what we would consider a radical Islamic doctrine.
Christianity has always been weaponized.
May I?
Since the Inquisition, the conquest. Go ahead.
We'll travel back in time to about 200 to 500. What do you guys call it? We call it something different. Hanji, is it BCE?
Just say
CE. I think CE. CE, okay. So about 200 to 500 CE. we see when Roman conquest came over, and not just Roman, we're talking about like Catholic Roman, came over to the British Isles. And that's just the British Isles alone. This has nothing to do prior, which are what Hanji was referring to. So we see the conquest coming over to the British Isles. Do you understand what happened to the Celts during that time?
No, but I imagine it wasn't anything good.
Oh, it was disgusting. White people were getting raped, pillaged, destroyed, murderized, and all sorts of things, according to the king, according to the Caesar. And then all of a sudden a schism happened after they took and destroyed it. I'm putting this into like PG terms for TikTok. But from about 200 to 500 was the introduction of Catholicism in the Isles. And from there, we actually started seeing something a little bit more progressive, as where they were hiring our own people to kidnap ourselves during the 1600s to slaughtering. Like, does this not retrograde to anything else that the Christians or their sects touched across the worlds and nations that we see today? Hanji, does that not sound familiar?
Oh, it does. It definitely does.
Taking our gods, Bridget and other ones, and pulling them into their own Christmas,
Yep.
holidays that were pagan traditions to allow them to have the monarchy they have today.
Mm-hmm.
I bow out.
I mean, I don't. Okay. I mean, yeah, the Christianity is adopting a large portion of paganistic traditions and holidays.
Goes all the way back to.
So then what the heck
Greeks.
are you? If you're adopting paganist ideals, but you go against paganist ideals, what the heck are you?
But yeah, Christianity nowadays, it's a choose your own adventure or Frankenstein's monster of different other religions now. I mean, like Doug
Wilson.
Wilson.
Assumption that I'm defending Christianity in its current form.
No, I don't
Technically,
I don't
in
think
general, you're defending it.
No, I think
No,
he's
I'm
going.
not. I'm actively saying that where it is right now, it's being used as propaganda to brainwash.
It has always been used as
middle
propaganda.
class.
That's
Yes,
what you
I
don't
know that,
understand.
but we're speaking about
That's why I brought you back to
events
200
in
CE.
America.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same side.
2,500 years ago, bro. And it's been
Yeah,
going
I don't-
longer than 2,500 years.
I don't know what the browbeating over
Christianity
semantics is.
became a
My-
thing with the Marcionites. We've seen this happening.
You know, I want to. Me and Marcian are gonna box.
What Baha, I think, is trying to say is that, like, Christianity, much as it has in the past, is still a vehicle used for indoctrination and control. Like, look at Doug Wilson and this, like, Pete Hegseth, like, version of Christianity that's going around.
I mean, American Baptist Church has literally been a breeding ground for American, like, fascism. It happened during the eugenics movement with the what was left over of the Puritan era. Then it moved into race secularism, where, I mean, literally the like boom of private schools after, you know, America decided that kids of all colors are allowed to be, you know, share the same place of, you know, instruction. And a bunch of people were like, yeah, not my kids. And we obviously know who I'm talking about. And
yeah,
it wasn't obviously commercialized as we don't want those kids with our kids, but, you know, our kids are good Christian children and they should go to the good Christian school, which were only really available in white tea affluent neighborhoods. Like the whole point that I'm trying to making is it is a vehicle for indoctrination and is being used to, quite frankly, a lot of the policy that we see today that is quite frankly destroying this country.
Which I would even say, like, goes against the original, like, Jewish, like, purpose, of the Old Testament, which is part of why the Christianity is so easily used as this vehicle of indoctrination and control, because it's vague. It's there's the Paulian version of Christianity that's this cosmological Jesus and God that never really was physical, and is, you have heaven and hell. And then there's the more kind of Torah observing version of Christianity that Jesus and the Gospels of the Synoptic Gospels kind of lean more towards, actually more so Matthew than maybe Luke or something. But the fact that it's so hard to point your finger or pinpoint anywhere with Christianity makes it so people can just take it in any direction they want. And they can just pick and cherry pick verses like Corinthians and say, oh yeah, women are not supposed to be anything but leaders in the household. So that means that they should not have the right to vote, which is what Doug Wilson right now is trying to do in America, is take away the women's right to vote. This is wild.
I think, and quite frankly, and if I had to go down a path that may be not to be trodden, quite frankly, again, I bring up the Southern Baptist Church because I think they're the most the Mormons are pretty repugnant. Most of the large multi-billion.
Have you not met the Catholics?
Institutions. Oh, the Catholics are bad too. But I don't think they are in the same decree as both those churches that I've mentioned before, the Mormons and the Baptists. They're very American secularized. They deviate from Catholics quite a bit to where their shared goals aren't necessarily the same, where Catholics on a broad spectrum usually hold a lot more progressive ideals and don't serve same vehicle of propaganda as the other two.
No, the Catholics are not progressive, and anyone who tells you that they are is lying out their fucking ass.
Again, obviously they're not, but in retrospect to somewhere like the Southern Baptist Church, they would be leagues ahead of them.
When it comes to certain scientific things, I would agree with you. When it comes
to scripture, they're the same fucking coin.
Yeah, well, not just that, but when it also comes to social issues, they're also
Catholics and kind of growing up
Orthodoxy too, but don't get me started on Greek Orthodoxy. There's
a lot more that can be done in Catholics, because a lot of Catholics, they're very hush. It's behind closed doors. As long as it's not in our face or it's not making too much noise, they kind of leave it alone. And that's obviously not true in every instance, but in most observations in the U.S.,
I used to agree with you, and let me explain why. Because I grew up I wasn't baptized, but my mom is Catholic, and her family, who we were around a lot, were devout Catholics, right? And all of them now, today, are not the same Catholics they were. They are now MAGA Catholics. And they are a huge movement of Catholicism in the U.S. So they're flat out ignoring the Pope. They're ignoring
absolutely.
MAGA,
I agree again. And again, when we're talking about specifically in the U.S., I believe a lot of that comes down to just middle class. There's such a disconnect between them. And I hate to say the working class because it obviously paints a picture for me, but quite frankly, they are, most Catholics would be more of an affluent class, especially amongst a white tea diaspora. They're going to side with the hand that feeds. They're not going to question it. Baptists, on the other hand, are a lot more. These are the guys that are being indoctrinated into these hate groups. They're the ones that are being pulled in. Obviously, Catholicism is going to play a role in that. I'm not, trying to excuse them of their behaviors, but Baptist is a lot more open and on the front line. We have groups like, the three Ks, or the A Brotherhood. I'm sure you guys can connect the puzzle pieces. I'm trying to be respectful of those because I don't know what's a bad one or not.
You're fine.
But yeah, and honestly, I think both have been taken over by, just kind of just mercantilism. I can't pronounce it. I'm so sorry, but mercantilism, I guess. I'm butchering it, I know. But between that and just usury is running rampant within the U.S. It's literally, we're building an entire country upon debt and building more and more debt.
And racism.
Well, yes, but the racism is just so that we don't end up, not just biting the hand that feeds, but ripping it apart in the streets. And that's just where that plays. That's just something to keep people from actually organizing.
Well, it is, but the problem is that it's been so ingrained here that it's now an official reason, regardless of anything. Because as I was kind of talking about earlier, I know damn well that the poorest, most racist will not join hands with people of color, even to save themselves.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, there's evidence we can go back to Katrina and that whole situation if you read into it. Or even, in today's, with the natural disasters happening, it doesn't even, race isn't even a matter. You can dissect it into class. If you just don't have it, your house was lost in a tornado, like, boo-hoo, bud, get over it. And,
I agree with you, but the problem is like, because that the class issue has literally always been the thing with America, it has always used race as the scapegoat for it. So as a result, racism itself, along with the class thing, are just as much a problem. Like, because you have that now mentality of the people who, even at the lowest rungs, will not work with people of color because their racism is so ingrained now. So,
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's going to have to be unpacking not only how the money flows, but also how people view race and color and all those things in one. Because I'm like the sneaky agent. I don't mean to be, but like when I'm in MAGA country, I'm able to hide the fact that I'm not part of any minority group. I'm a gay person. They don't know that though most of the time. So when they're around me, I look like any other, redneck white boy. And they will say some shit in front of me. And they say all this shit in front of me because they think they're safe. And I know that they're not going to be there for anybody else. And that's the scary part of that.
Which is crazy. Just on a side note, the fact that they're trying to bring up already the case material to overturn marriage equality is frightening, and unfortunately has cost me to cut off a few family members. But that "I told you so" is going to weigh quite a bit on them. To go further, especially with the xenophobia and talking about just these people of the same kind of economic groups just not wanting to work together. I do believe that what we're going to see is a transition from, obviously, with what they're doing to the Hispanic community, the immigrant community, ostracizing them. I do believe what they're going to replace them with is indoctrinated white tea people of the lower class, and they're going to do it under this, I'm hard, red-blooded, whatever have you, and I'm doing this for God and country. And they'll, quite literally put themselves in indentured servitude, for lack of better terms or lack of TikTok safe terms, with a smile on their face because they're serving their country and their God.
I don't even think they're going to replace them with poor white people. I think they're going to replace them with other people of color once they're done with the people that come from Latin America or South America, Central America, all those places. Once they're done with that racial profiling, they'll move on to the Native Americans, which they're already kind of including in because, typically they have the look they're after. Then it's going to be the LGBTQIA community, and then that's going to be left with nothing but the Black community. And unfortunately, I think they have an ultimate goal to return them to a different status, which is who I think they're actually going to be replacing people with.
I think it's, unfortunately, it might be more grave than that. I think the trajectory we're on, because they do not want decenters. That's why this very overt kind of power display is happening the way that we are seeing it. I think the end all be all goal is to have a class of people who almost thrive and or enjoy the groveling. You know, I'm in the ditches, but you know, I'm a blue collar man. I work 60 hours a week. If you don't work 60 hours a week, you're part-time. Like, I work in construction. That type of conversation. Obviously, it's just a bunch of dudes being idiots. Like, that's what a majority of it is, but that's none of them like will click. I can't have relationships. Like, especially when I was traveling for work, I mean, a bunch of them just were having trouble. I mean, they weren't the greatest people either, like were cheating or just acting a fool. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're scratching their heads like, well, I'm supporting my family. I was like, you haven't seen your kids in 3 years. You've been living in an RV in 6 states away, and you only, you know, are seen like on the holidays.
Yeah.
When they allow you to have time off. And then you wonder why you can't build a family around that.
The only reason I'm more focused on the idea that there would like a return to slavery, because as Dan Blackwhite in the comments has already pointed out, Trump's cabinet's filled with white supremacists, and they're all into the eugenics. So it's not super far-fetched to see what their ultimate goal is. I'm not saying that they're not going to put the working class, the poorest of the poor, the white community through their paces. I'm not saying they're not going to do that. I am saying, however, that they're also going after the free labor that they think they used to have as well.
I mean, more or less, I wholeheartedly agree. That's just what it is, because they're looking for anything, because they've ramped up their debt vouchers. They're literally going to build another. It's crazy hearing like tech bro or crypto bro try to talk to me talking about, well, this is going to replace the US dollar, and then in the same breath just bash the FDA for destroying the gold standard, and you know, we just keep printing and printing money. They're quite literally replacing a baseless fiat asset that is hyper volatile with another fiat asset with even less guidelines that can just be made overnight, that is even more volatile, just completely baseless. There's nothing.
The biggest red flag, and Dan, it's like you're reading my mind tonight. You know that, right? But Dan's right. The people who are, as TikTok would want us to call them, the unhoused, that's usually your first sign. So when it comes to fascism, I don't know how many people know this. So I'm not saying this because I think you don't know, Bob, but I'm just saying in general. Fascism, it goes after specific groups first. Usually it goes after the most liberal, which it currently is doing. It just isn't able to pick us up rightfully without a lot of pushback first. They've got to find a way around that. They also come after the disabled, and then they come after, the unhoused. Yes, those who are unhoused, which Trump is currently doing in D.C. with making people who are unhoused basically illegal. Putting them in camps. They're concentrating them in camps.
It's interesting to me because if you were to have a conversation with someone who supports this, which unfortunately these people are plentiful, at least in my experience, and at this point, I won't lie, when I get on the lives and it's just some boomer just is reading Twitter posts as if they're biblical readings, I won't lie, I just troll. So this is refreshing, but it's insane to me because if you look at the amount of money spent on relocating these people, paying National Guard, paying these specialty agents, the surveillance technology from Planeteer and Oracle that's going into this. I mean, we're flying Reaper drones over metropolitan areas. And ICE has a new retina scanning tool to verify a citizen's status, and they've already said that they have a large enough database to make this feasible, apparently, of U.S. citizens. The amount of money that's being spent on that could wholeheartedly fix our entire homeless problem. Like, even if you just didn't give someone a home, to actually rehabilitate these people into society, like, do it a productive way.
Well, what's funny is that when people try to do that, like, for example, Kamala Harris tried to do that out in California, and all the right did was turn around and make it something else that didn't happen, and their propaganda won out.
It's interesting to me, and it's funny. It usually goes the way of, like, why are you giving these people handouts? Where are my handouts? And then they don't realize it's because they keep voting in the people who say you don't get handouts.
Yep.
Starve. So
billionaires get more subsidies and more handouts than any other group of people in this entire country, and they always have. Well, not always, but in the recent decades, yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being able
Harper, are you ever 21?
I was just gonna say, being able to come into a chat like this and having similar views that you all do about the way that the country should be going in the way that it's currently not. I believe that the goodness of the heart will always follow through to the truth.
There have been a lot of instances in history where that's not been the case.
Yeah, I mean, I agree to an extent. I just don't know when that like line will finally like trigger.
I need to before we forgot to. Hold on for a second, Tim. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but we're trying to get your age real quick for TikTok, just so we know.
Oh, I'm 25.
All right, perfect. All right, go ahead, continue.
Yes, sir. I actually like a lot of the good nature that you are saying and that you currently have. You see what I'm saying? And there is a certain point to where you can't put the church forcefully as anything. So there is a middle ground I hope that people eventually do come to in that way. And the way that Trump is going currently, I wish that more conservatives in that way saw that their Christian values are actually being twisted against them.
But that's the problem with indoctrination and this type of into this religion that I have found to be far and wide the case. It more often than not kills critical thought.
May I answer your question before, I had the answer right as you were saying it. Basically, the reason of the lambs and the goats, right, is your heart now. You are lambs more than what you think you are. Does that make sense? In the way that I'm trying to relate it.
That depends on which gospel you're going by. If you're going by James, yes. If you're going by Paul, no.
The whole point of Paul was a reason that he was wrong in the ways that he was before, closer to the way of the other person you just mentioned. And he actually says that love does, to a degree, surpass the ways of the old law. If you read what he said to Timothy.
Heresy, right? So
it's
like
not heresy, actually, because
that goes against what Jesus. That goes against everything Jesus was saying.
Is the heresy at that point, because his sacrifice in a karmic way actually washes you and it benefits both of you at the same time.
Untrue again. See,
based on whose definition?
First of all, Jesus has to fulfill the messianic prophecies to be such a Messiah, right? Second of all, if he is such a Messiah, why did he only come for the lost sheep of Israel? Nowhere does he mention the Gentiles until Paul comes.
Actually, the funny thing is that you are all grafted into the same olive branch. And if you would see that commonality between each other and love each other.
Nephew, don't mute it.
And on top of that, it's not supposed to be eugenics, right? If you are going based off of eugenics, you are doing the opposite of what it actually is supposed to be teaching you.
Have you not read the Bible?
Yeah, that's the problem of Christianity. It's using a book that is based only for Israelites, only for the Hebrew people.
Literally to explain something. And by the way, the Kabbalah does have reincarnation into it.
Yeah, new heaven and new earth, new body. Like
No. Before all of that, the Kabbalah actually taught reincarnation, and that's what was actually tried to be used against the Jewish people, right? The Christians were misinformed of what the Kabbalah actually was and meant. That's why it's not taught today. Yeshua actually taught Hebrew letters when he wasn't taught them.
Jesus was teaching through the Septuagint.
Right. He was teaching
and the Septuagint was Greek.
According to what we have, at least.
Mm-hmm. Did you not know that?
Can you repeat it again? I didn't hear you fully.
So,
Jesus was teaching through the Septuagint, which is the Greek transliteration of the Hebrew Old Testament.
And not the Masoretic.
How do you know that when it actually says that he was teaching Hebrew letters?
He wasn't teaching Hebrew letters. During that time, he would have spoke Aramaic.
Yeah,
not Hebrew.
Oh, and guess what? And the funny thing is that the scholars actually were the only ones who knew Hebrew at the time. That's why it was a marvel that he knew it in the first place. You're correct that the Aramaic was the spoken language at the time. Scholars knew Hebrew, and that's the whole point.
Which scholars?
The ones who knew Kabbalah, as it was a hidden practice.
Kabbalah was just for the Jewish people.
And does Hinduism not have a similar teaching?
Of reincarnation,
the Gita?
Slightly similar. I mean, all you're doing to me is you're connecting an even further ancestor.
Here we have somebody that can actually answer that question.
Let's let the Jewish person answer.
I'm gonna dip. This has been constructed. I'll see you all next time.
Hold on.
Hello.
Oh, thank you, Baha. Torah, I'm gonna let you talk. We're calm.
I'm calm.
All right. Go ahead.
So Kabbalah, as the system it is today, was not around during Jesus' time. So everything you're saying regarding him teaching Kabbalah is false.
How do you know that?
She's Jewish.
Because it was rooted in mysticism from around that time, but it was not built until Sephardi Jews built it later. I'm a Jew. I know my culture.
And all I'm asking for is references so that I may know as you do.
You do know Judaism is a closed practice, including the Kabbalah and the geometry.
And then why were both of the there's three parts, right? There's one hidden and two that are freely available for everyone.
No. Okay, so Christian Kabbalah was stolen from Jewish Kabbalah.
Yes, ma'am, it was.
So you agree it was stolen, and therefore y'all should not be touching it.
And used to try and convert you.
You think that's a fucking flex?
No.
That is not a flex. That's disgusting.
No, that's I'm literally trying to tell you that is more the fact that you feel such hurt. Oh my gosh.
Let me stop you, fuckboy. Here's the thing. You don't tell a Jewish person that they're wrong about their beliefs or how they should feel when you uncultured, unseasoned Malachias.
He's saying that they are right for being hurt.
Hanji, you disappeared. Hanji.
I can't hear you.
Hold on.
That's not really
Can you
bad.
hear me now?
Hold on a second, Tim.
Tim, you can shut the fuck up.
All right, now we hear
She
you.
has every right to feel how she feels because we are sick and tired of people like you telling us that we're wrong in our own cultures, in our own belief systems, when you guys wouldn't have jack shit if it wasn't for you colonizing our areas. So yes, we have every right to feel the way we fucking feel.
Yes, ma'am. That's not what I was trying to tell. I wasn't trying to go against that, and I'm sorry if it came across that I was.
So what were you trying to say then?
The Kabbalah was it's a like 12th and 13th century like mysticism of like the Sephardic Jews created because of a mixture of different beliefs.
At the end of the day, all I really have is reverence and certain things for that, and that is why I'm willing to say that I'm wrong. That's why I'm willing to actually give credit where credit is due, and even say that I only want to know as much.
Well, then go back and read.
And if someone is willing to tell me where I'm wrong, I will own that.
Go back and read the prophets. Go back and read all the messianic prophecies. And
I'm trying to find the correlate, like in between. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to find the answers of both. Like even why one could be right and one could be wrong.
Okay, then in that case, go read about Marcion. Go read about Marcion to start, and then also go back and just read whatever.
There's a book called Found Christianities by Bart Ehrman. That's a good book.
I'm trying to be receptive in the way that it tells us to be in Kabbalah. Actually respecting those types of things. I'm not trying to harm or take away from anything. And if I am gladly, I will accept those types of things gladly.
Okay, so Kabbalah belongs to Jews, and the fact that the Christians literally tortured Jews to get that information out of us and then bastardized it, I would not recommend practicing Christian Kabbalah because it's just a Frankenstein version.
Yes, ma'am.
As is the Hermetic version, which followed up the Christian Kabbalah.
Heard. I was actually in agreement with that. Yes, ma'am.
Don't even get me started on hermeneutics. Ugh.
That's what I was trying to say, as it was used against those people.
Yes,
it literally was.
They tortured Jews to get that information from us, and then they tried to weaponize it against us. They said, oh, well, we're going to accuse you of witchcraft, but we want your mysticism.
And now it's a weird, creepy money scam.
Yep.
That is used by a whole bunch of other people. Like they make you pay for more and more books.
Yeah.
To learn more and more stuff. And it's all been turned into a gimmick.
Yeah, it's tricky. And about Kabbalah, it was not around in the structure that it was during Jesus' time because we had other forms of mysticism around that time.
But
I should just let you know at that point.
There still does seem to be a correlation, and the fact that Christians were basically mistaught, I feel like that's why we still have some of these systemic sorts of like ways of being about those kinds of things, and we're not being humble enough.
I think the biggest problem is like you have thanks to Tarsha, I hear you. The biggest problem that we have, Tim, is like Christianity can't be compatible with Judaism because Jesus himself, if you go and actually, like Benny suggested, go and actually read the Messianic prophecies, right? Mm-hmm. Jesus didn't meet any of them. He didn't uphold any of them. There's no sign of him ever going to. There's literally nothing that connects him to the actual Messianic prophecies. There's no resurrection in the Messianic prophecies. There's no crucifixion. There's no virgin birth. There's none of that.
Jesus is just as legitimate as Jim Jones or Joseph Smith or...
Actually, Milo has a pretty decent...
I see that. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, but the problem is like, if you look at the realistic part of it, Jesus, even if we accept that he was a real person, which I don't necessarily believe that, but if we go with it, you have to realize that he was a Jewish man who still taught Jewish law, Jewish tradition. And his entire point of coming, Christians will tell you, it's to create a new covenant of grace, but that's not what it says anywhere. In there, it says he came to fulfill the law And he already said not a jot nor a tittle of the law will disappear until the earth and heaven have passed away. So
I have a question.
Everyone's still supposed to be under the 613 laws of the original Jewish text that nobody even knows.
I have a very important question for the people who know Torah and everything of that from their own faith within their own being through their own experience. If they decide that they would like to answer that question.
I am willing to, but I don't know about everybody else. I won't speak to it.
What's the question?
Why does it say, and I'm asking this in a way that I want to know if it says in yours too. I'm not saying either. I just want to know if your Torah says that it is 1,000 days, or fuck, I almost got it wrong, sorry. I shouldn't curse, but that's my own conviction, nobody else's.
1,000 years.
Can you give me the
Basically,
verse?
what I'm asking is that it, in the Torah, does it say that time is different to the Lord, as in, basically, it is 1,000 years for us and it's a day for him?
Yeah. Go ahead, Tora. I know the answer to that.
I need a specific verse because time in the Torah in general is weird.
He's basically saying there's a verse in the New Testament where it says,
2 Peter 3:8 says there's
that like 1,000 years is but a day to God, basically. So he's trying to confirm if that is true for the Old Testament as well. But because the argument I often have with most Christians is that on the atheist side, the deconstruction side is, most of us have to have the argument with them that that is simply a metaphor and it doesn't mean literally for them. And that in the Torah and then even the original book, he actually gives you a 24-hour time frame. He lays it out very clearly. 24 hours is a day.
Right. And Second Peter's taken that from Psalm 90, verse 4. It says, "For 1,000 years in your sight are like yesterday when it is past, and like a watch in the night." And it's a poetic way of saying, like, hindsight. It seems not that long ago, something that is very long ago, or like some things seem very long ago that aren't.
He's existing outside of all of time.
Well, Tora, I'll let you explain that aspect of your God for that.
That's a question more so than a statement.
Yeah.
Or in your sight 1,000 years are like yesterday has passed. Yeah, that doesn't speak to 1,000 years being a day in God's time.
The question now is, does the Jewish version of God, the Israelite Hebrewistic way of seeing God, does he exist outside of time?
No.
Okay.
So he is within time. In what? Okay, so which one is it?
God is this like eternal, demigod / like part of this greater pantheon that just
Are
like
you going to make the demigod definition?
So, okay, I'm not sure if you're aware of how Adonai evolved in my culture, but he was originally the son of El, and he was bequeathed the people of Israel, the Jewish nation, by El in the Bible, but there's also some other stories that say that he defeated El in battle and inherited his wife.
Who?
AKA his mother.
Yep, that's his mother. So he married his mother, which, yeah. But anyway, so yes, he had as a wife.
Is that can I ask one thing real quick?
Yeah.
I'm
cleaning up dog vomit.
Is El or him the same one who walked with Abraham during that covenant where there was blood on each side?
It became the same entity because what happened was after El bequeathed Israel to Adonai, or Adonai conquered El, he absorbed him. And that's how he inherited Asherah as his wife.
So that's why maybe the Gnostic and that is
Not to
similar?
complicate it too much, but Ball played a thing in there too somewhere.
I mean, Ball's his brother, so you know.
Yeah, that was a whole nother weird thing that was in there in between too.
Right, but
it goes back into the Canaanites.
Yeah.
And then later on, when we stopped being a polytheistic people, Adonai then encompassed Asherah as the Shekinah, Baal, as well as other deities from our pantheon. So he's an amalgamation of masculine and feminine deities.
Okay, heard.
Yeah, and like this can be seen in the Old Testament. If you like look up like Deuteronomy 32 verses 8 and 9, that's where this whole, like El Elyon, apportioned Jacob or Israel to Yahweh.
Sorry, I was cleaning up dog vomit. I don't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to let you know why it took me a bit.
No worries.
Also, Torah, it
Read
says
that passage,
Adonai.
you can see where it specifically says the Most High, that would be El, and then just appropriates Jacob, the Lord's allotted share, the Lord being Yahweh.
I have
why
two
they
more
make that differentiation. Every time you see the Most High, they're talking about El Elyon. They're not talking about Yahweh.
So El Elyon is the Most High, and the Lord is Yahweh. Oh, sorry, Torah, Adonai.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry about that, Torah. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Also, it's not way, it's we.
Yod He Vav He? Or something
Yes.
of that nature? Word.
Yeah, Torah's she's Jewish, so she can't.
She's a protege of Rabbi Hana's.
She cannot say his name, and we're
Adonai.
respecting her by not saying his name either.
Yeah,
Apologies.
I do apologize for that, Torah. I am sorry.
Thank you.
Only asking a question, and thank you. Heard.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot in there that like a lot of people like you don't learn from your Catholic or Christian
It
priest.
doesn't help that the early church fathers at the Council of Nicaea, they pretty much made the Bible as it is, which means they left out a lot of stuff that gave that context better.
I think
It's also, unfortunately, the early Christians kind of flattened God, took away like all of the nuance that created him. Like, you guys wouldn't know that El was originally his father, and then he absorbed his father. He married his mother, and later absorbed his mother, and then he absorbed his siblings.
He used to be El Elyon, Asherah, Adonai, and his 71 brothers and sisters.
That's part of why, like, when we say Elohim, Elohim is plural for El. El
Yes.
literally, in the definition of the term, means God.
Yeah.
Elohim is plural, meaning gods.
Yep.
Allah is
Elohim's
actually
facts.
goddess in Hebrew.
And El Elyon, when they talk about big G, little g, that's not a thing in Hebrew. So when they try to pass those little g's off as spirits or angels, they've gotten it completely wrong.
Demon.
Yeah, they're talking about actual gods, and they're talking about the children of El.
Yeah, and like also the angels specifically aren't necessarily children of El, like Michael, Gabriel. They're not necessarily children. What they
They're
are
just
like
add-on
lesser
spirits.
divine entities, but they're still divine entities. Same with demons.
Are they extensions of his will?
No.
Okay, got it. Heard.
There's still creations of his, but forgive me, sorry, I don't remember everything Rabbi Hamas taught me about this, but like, there's still creations of the divine beings. I don't know. I think they all have different creators.
Yes, they all are. They
But
are.
they all work for Adonai now because he has absorbed everybody.
Yes, and my view on them is a bit different than Rabbi Hana's. Because obviously, considering there have been like fallen angels who, got the diddly on with some women. Obviously, I feel like angels are kind of like us, but divine entities. They're fuck ups. They could do whatever the fuck they want. But as long as they are loyal to Adonai, obviously. And actually, I believe also this might coincide with a bit of Rabbi Hannah's belief, but demons are just the opposite side of that coin.
Do you guys still believe that El Elion's just out there, or that he actually did absorb him? Like, I'm curious how that, or do you think that's just historically what happened, but he's still like actually part of the pantheon?
That really depends on who you ask.
Okay.
Because there are actually some polytheistic Jews, well, more so kenotheistic.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, he absorbed him and inherited his mom as his wife.
Okay. So you're of the actual, he actually absorbed them, and some are of that it's just the way literature has gone about this book, that it just absorbed him because that's just how the history has gone about it.
That's just how the history went, because there was El and Adonai separate, and then eventually, like, as you saw, like, the literature, like, coming in later periods, that was more or less less distinct.
So
and then it was just they became one entity. So I feel like, in my personal belief, Adonai did absorb his father.
Is it more accurate to say that Baal absorbed his father and got Asherah, and then Yahweh absorbed him and then Asherah?
No, I think it's the fact that, because there was a conflation between El and Adonai, but then there was also a conflation between Baal and Adonai. And
Right. That's because there was the Baal cycle. That's why I asked that question.
That, and I think that like leads to more of like a geo-specific kind of thing, like depending on like if they're either like the Elohist or the Yahwist tribes of the Canaanite region.
Also, it's more based on a tribe that might have believed it. So some might have been Baalists and some might have been.
All I'm going to say is between Baal and Adonai, they were having a dick measuring contest. That's all.
Yes, they were. They were
Wait, are you talking
brothers. Of
about the-
course they were.
Are you talking about the Canaanites?
Well,
Yes.
that's where Adonai comes from.
Because if you look at the lore, they were both storm and war entities, just for different areas. Like, I believe all might have been like northern Canaan, and Adonai was southern. I might have it switched.
I think that depends on where they consider Jacob's land to be.
But like, it was just regional, and then it just so happens that they ended up merging, because like you see in the text about Baal worship.
And he was pissy.
Yes, he was. And honestly, I feel like it's so funny, because I feel like, you know, Adonai already had a temper with his little temper tantrums and whatnot, and then he absorbed Baal and just got 10 times worse.
Yep.
Like, really?
By the way, Torah.
Yes.
Respectfully, tell Adonai he can catch these hands.
Oh, I tell him he can catch my hands. Please.
That right there is what I wish Christianity would do, is take the attitude and the mentality that Jewish people take about Adonai. I wish they would do the same for Jesus and their version of Adonai.
I can't really speak on my deities, because me and Zeus are always nose to nose, like every day. Fuck you, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, go fuck yourself, you little shit.
Oh my God, speaking of Hanji, I wanted to ask you, because I feel like doing some skits, like comedy skits, because you know how like
so Godhood is within the religion to believe in Godhood based off of the deity itself and what he did through the stories. And the Torah, it says that it's not more than, or it says that if you take them for just stories, then you're a fool.
No, that's.
No.
I'm asking a question. I'm not saying what
No. You're. I think you're misunderstanding what they're actually saying, because no, Torah. I'm gonna let you. I'm not going to try.
So the Torah is literally a collection of our stories, and me personally, I feel like they could be based on actual historic events, but like seriously embellished. Like, for example, the flood. It was not a global flood. It was a local flood. And based on the perspective of the writers at that time, they wouldn't have known that. So obviously, that's their entire world.
Right. Because imagine a walrus tusking his way across the desert.
I can imagine that.
Well, and like during the Babylonian exile, the Jewish people lost their history. So they spent many years, like speaking with each other and gathering everything they could. And that's what created the Torah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's how they are able to kind of preserve their history, and like it is probably based in reality somewhat, but there's a lot of probably, like archetypical, embellishment or folklore.
Exactly.
Are you one of the ones who thinks that the Exodus story is true or not true?
The Exodus story? There's
Being lost in the
way.
desert.
Like, do I believe Moses existed? I believe the people could have existed in some extent, but like Moses could not have written the Torah himself. Like that probably would have taken 40 authors.
Right.
And like the size of the desert that they were like wandering.
It's only an 8-hour walk.
Not that large.
Yeah. That's why I've always been like, I wonder how many Jewish people actually believe they were lost in that little tiny space for that long with that many people. You know what I mean? So I'm just curious if you were among those who did it.
Yeah, no, I'm not a literalist. I feel like that was heavily embellished because as you look like throughout the Torah, it is weird. Like some people could age like 100 years, and it's just like, okay, so if Abraham was 100 and something when he had a kid, and we were wandering the desert for 40 years, how long was that really?
I just got like, after watching My Big Fat Greek Wedding or something, like I just picture like this idea of Mediterranean people who are all just like flipping out about an 8-hour walk, and then they finally get there like, we were out there for 40 years. Oh my God.
Listen, we are that fucking dramatic. Don't
I know, that's why.
No, for real. Jews are really that dramatic. Like, honestly, this is why, though, and especially the women, because like if a Jewish guy does some fuck shit, you say to him, "I'm going to tell your mother."
Oh yeah.
And it's on. Like,
it's the same thing with the Greek women and the men, because those Malakias stay on their fucking mother's bosom.
Like I'm calling your mother and I'm telling her what you did. No, please don't call my mom.
So that's just what I picture now. Like every time I hear that story, I just picture a bunch of people who are very dramatic in the Mediterranean look and just being like, oh, it was such a long walk. I'm so tired. We were out there for 40 years. What are we doing?
Exactly.
And it was literally just an 8-hour walk, and it just took forever because there's so many of us.
We are that fucking dramatic. I'm not kidding. Like,
I feel like that's what happened.
How deep is cannabis into the roots of Jewish faith or just culture in general?
I don't know if it was
I'm
actually.
just going to say straight up, with the burning bush, Moses was high as fuck.
Yeah, like
I don't
the
know if it was
tabernacle.
cannabis. They did have a lot of different things they did in them temples, though, and that wasn't necessarily cannabis, though.
It was a certain type.
Well, isn't cannabisum that?
Yeah. There was a certain type. Bert was going on about this. Like they were hotboxing in the tabernacle.
Oh yeah, that was.
And maybe
part
that's
of the
where it should be. Instead of like that balance.
Christians prefer Jesus Krispies and wine and frankincense.
And us Egyptians, we had the Blue Lotus.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Who's on right now?
Don't know.
I actually was about to go live, but nobody else was going to go live with me because I don't want to go live by myself.
I have. I don't know if I should even talk about it at this point.
What's that?
It's about the anointing oil.
What about it?
Cannabisum is a recipe.
Bow chicka bow bow.
You'll find that a lot of things in the Bible are more about bow chicka bow bow than anything else. Washing of the feet.
Actually, we actually do have anointing oil. We use it for candles, ritual items. We could anoint ourselves. But yeah, I actually have a recipe for the original anointing oil.
Does it actually include like myrrh or whatever?
Yes, myrrh, frankincense, olive oil, obviously.
Obviously.
Good stuff.
Zeus loves a good olive oil on his feet. Keeps the bronze color going.
Listen, I've done a lot of feet washing in my time.
I'm glad that I can actually ask these types of questions. I enjoy that.
Well,
and thank you for allowing me to.
We give them a lot. As a matter of fact, tune in. I believe we're going to settle on the date of the 24th this month. But Rabbi Hannah, myself, and sometimes Father Mark, sometimes whoever else we can get, have a monthly special where we have basically myself, Rabbi or resident clergy for the Jewish faith, also either Father Mark, sometimes Rabbi Hannah's brother, who's a Christian, Tim, or if we can find another person from another denomination, we try to get them on too. But we call the special an atheist, a rabbi, and a priest walk into a live. Well, we call it, the name of the show is an atheist, a rabbi, and a priest walk into a live, and that will be on the 24th this month. This will be our fourth one. And you can more welcome to come to that, Tim, because you can ask all the questions you want.
Word. Seriously, they will answer all of your questions. Like,
I mean, I'd rather be learning and receptive than assuming.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this showcases people of the clergy of the various parts of Abrahamic religion.
I'm still a student, so
there's never going to be a day I can get a person from Islam to come up and talk honestly about the texts, especially since most of us don't know the Quran that way.
I don't like going into the Quran personally.
I don't particularly want to platform it either. So it's strictly just Rabbi Hannah and whatever denominations of Christianity we can get that belong to the clergy. So they'll all talk honestly about the text and what it means. They won't give you the traditional shit that you get from Christians as you grew up. They teach you how to read the book properly.
Oh, yeah.
And they welcome questions. They love questions.
I know you came from that YouTube channel. Just stick around that YouTube channel. There's going to be other shows and stuff that are on that Deconstruction Junction. We have other friends that we show on there, and you'll quickly find out that there's a large community of people that are trying to figure this all out together.
Yep, there's a lot of
That's his backup account, Torah.
That's my backup. Yeah, I'm in trouble, Torah.
What did you do?
I said Schmepstein and rump in the same sentence.
Oh, well, shit.
Well, here we go. How about this?
I mean, look at the
wrap
laws
up,
that
guys. I
Trump
appreciate
just
you all
signed.
being here. Epstein and Trump. Bye.